It is 1 minute after 11. I would like to call the Will County Board Land Use and Development Committee meeting for November. If you'll all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. And can I ask Member Winfrey to please lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Member Winfrey. Okay, Dawn, will you please?
Good morning. Frankie Pretzel,
I'm here.
Sherry Newquist,
Here.
Herbert Brooks, Dawn Bullock,
Present.
Raquel Mitchell, Judy Ogala, and Denise Winfrey.
Okay, we have a quorum. Perfect. First on the agenda today, approval of minutes. First, we have Will County Land Use and Development Committee meeting minutes from September 4th, 2025. Can I get a motion?
Newquist?
Motion Newquist, second Winfrey.
Frankie Pretzel,
Yes.
Sherry Newquist,
Yes.
Dawn Bullock,
Yes.
Judy Ogala, and Denise Winfrey.
Motion carries. Next, we have Will County Land Use Development Committee meeting minutes from October 2nd, 2025.
Second Newquist?
Gala, second Newquist.
Previous.
Previous roll Winfrey,
Second Bullock.
second Bullock. All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, motion carries. On to new business. First up on the agenda, zoning case 25028. Requesting a special use permit for a commercial solar energy facility. This is at 26347 West Baltz Road, Joliet, Illinois County Board District Number 1. The applicant has requested another postponement, if I'm correct here, until the December meeting. If I could get a motion and a second to postpone this until December.
Motion Newquist.
Second O'Gala.
Motion Newquist, second O'Gala. Previous roll Winfrey, second Bullock. All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, motion carries. We're going to postpone zoning case 25028 to the December meeting. Next on the agenda, zoning 25-2836, zoning case 25-077. This one is for a special use permit for a bar in Frankfort Township, commonly known as 7663 West St. Francis Road, Frankfort, Illinois County Board District Number 3. Can I get a motion and a second to open this up for discussion?
Motion. Oh, God.
Motion Newquist.
Second Newquist.
Second O'Gala. And then Margie, do you want to fill in the blanks on this one?
Sure. So this zoning case ZC 25077 takes place in Frankfort Township. The owner is Dipcrit LLC, where Bharat Kandaria and Dipti Kandaria are each 50% interest. The tenant is Shankara Incorporated, where Bharat Kandaria is 100% interest. And the agent is Chris James of Elite Gaming. So the property is in a multi-tenant commercial development along St. Francis Road. It's across from Frankfort Square, and there are several other liquor use establishments within this commercial strip mall and the immediate one to the west. This unit is the former dry cleaners, and it is currently the only unoccupied unit in this particular multi-tenant commercial development. The applicant's seeking to operate a video gaming bar in the unit, and there is enough parking spaces to accommodate the zoning requirements. Their lease guarantees that they have 17 spaces within the 34 parking space lot, and the minimum requirement based on the square footage is 14. The proposed hours of operation would be 9 a.m. to 1 a.m. Monday through Thursday, and then 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. Friday and Saturday. 6 gaming terminals are proposed, and as you're aware, the video gaming requires on-site liquor consumption, which is why this use is classified as a bar. The use would be required to obtain the county and state licensures for liquor and video gaming, and is also tied with complying with county and state liquor and gaming regulations. The site is already developed. The fire district provided comments that they want this unit to be brought up to current fire codes, which would likely be included as part of the required commercial remodel permit for establishing the gaming cafe. Frankfort Township objected to the request. And then there were no objectors present at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. The Planning and Zoning Commission meeting voted 6-0 with 3 conditions, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thanks, Margie. Is the applicant here today for this one? I would invite you up to the microphone here in the front of the room to my left. And then while we're waiting for that, do we have any questions from committee members for staff? Okay. When you get up there, please turn your microphone on. It's the button on the right. And then introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Christian James. I'm the agent for this application.
Yeah, thank you for being here today. We do have a question from a committee member here. Here.
For staff, looking down the lane here on the other, what do you call it? Building of shops, sorry. Are there any other gaming bars, anything within these two strips?
No, not currently. The other liquor establishments are, you have a 7-Eleven who sells packaged liquor. You have bootleggers in the western adjacent strip mall that sells packaged liquor. And then there's an establishment that does ancillary liquor. It's a restaurant. I think it's Tony's Pizzeria that has wine and beverages as part of the meals. Correct. This would be the first gaming in these two strip malls.
So, yeah, go ahead, Member Newquist.
Am I correct that that Frankfurt Township is objecting to this? I read the note. Do we know why? They didn't really say.
The only correspondence we received from the township was just the email saying that they objected, and they voted, I think back in September at their board meeting.
Okay, thank you.
I did have some conversations with him about it. And so I was one of the biggest advocates for lifting the prohibition on video gaming in Will County. And the whole intent behind that was we were kind of putting our businesses, our current bars at a disadvantage from bars that might be across the street or just a half mile away in the municipalities that do allow it. So it was like, well, why don't we allow it? The unintended consequence to that is we're now starting to see all these new applications for liquor licenses so we can have new video gaming. And what we're seeing is this is the third one in Frankfurt Square in just a short period of time. And so the Frankfurt Township is concerned. They're like, these things are everywhere. You know, every center is going to have one soon, and they don't like the look of it. They don't want it. So they're objecting to it, just the sheer amount of them. So this would be the third one that we've heard in Frankfurt Square in less than a year. I don't know, 6 months, 12 months. So that's what we have to decide, is how many of these are we willing to tolerate. So
I have a question I have a question. This is probably for the state's attorney. Sorry, you can't hide. Legally, can we not approve something just because we think there's too many of them? I was always under the impression from my municipal board days, that if you allowed one such establishment, you could not then deny the other establishments that met the same criteria.
Oh, he needs a mic.
Well, I forget, we don't give you a mic.
They don't give me a mic every month.
on the right.
Okay, so a good question. Essentially, you have to look at the criteria. And so, I mean, if you have no other legitimate reason to deny it, if it meets the criteria and there's no, like I said, other reason under the criteria to deny it, then it, in all intents purposes, should be recommended for approval. Because you got the criteria in there, unless you've already placed long ago on the ordinance for a cap on a number, a limitation number. If it's not already there, then at this point, I think it's pretty much meets criteria, should be recommended for approval.
And staff has recommended this for approval, correct?
Yes, we recommended approval and the Planning and Zoning Commission agreed.
Member Ogala, your light's on. Did you have something?
Yep, thank you. So Frankfurt Township is a little area that's surrounded by a lot of different things, and they have for a long time had in the unincorporated many, many bars. And for a long time, when member Mustis was here, they had a moratorium on them. So it becomes a thing that when you look at this and you need to consider, is this the right location? Does it meet the criteria? I find that something like this is going to be open till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever the
One
timings are.
during the week, two on the week.
1 a.m. during the week and 2 a.m. on the weekends, right next to a residential, huge residential area is just an inappropriate location. So because of that, I'm going to be voting no on it. I don't think that we have to look at where people live and what's appropriate. And the Frankfurt Township is opposed to this because of the residential location. So I'm a no. Thank you.
So we've invited you up and you've introduced yourself. Do you, based on the comments you're hearing, do you have any comments yourself?
I do understand your sentiment. I think that the only thing I can say is, it's a pretty small square foot area. The plan is just to serve beer and wine with like a 3-drink limit. There's 6 VGTs. It's a small bar area. The intention is not for this to be like a rowdy kind of bar. So it's, I do understand the concern, but that would be my only response to that.
We do have a couple.
Have you had any conversation with Frankfurt, was it Frankfurt Square or Township? Yeah.
We just send them that we're doing this before the zoning meeting, and then initially they actually said it's okay, and then after that they voted saying that they're not okay with it. So
Do we have any other questions or comments from committee members? Okay, I think we are ready to vote. We have a motion and a second. Dawn, will you please call the roll?
Frankie Pretzel,
No.
Sherry Newquist,
Yes.
Dawn Bullock,
Yes.
Judy Ogala,
No.
and Denise Winfrey.
Okay.
3-2.
Motion carries. Congratulations. We'll see you at the full board meeting. Number 3, we have a zoning case 25080. This is a map amendment from R3 to C4 in Joliet Township, 501 Manhattan Road, Joliet, Illinois County Board District Number 6. Can I get a motion and a second?
Motion O'Gala.
Second Newquist.
Motion O'Gala, second Newquist. And then Kelly, will you please?
Okay, so this is for ZC 25-080. The owner of the property is John Keefe Jr. and the applicant is Tim Ryan. They are looking to rezone the property or a property along Manhattan Road from R3 to C4 to construct a fencing company. Based on the application and site plan submitted, the applicant is looking to construct 2 buildings on site and have outdoor storage, and there will be approximately 32 parking spaces. On the screen shows the zoning map with the properties within a half-mile radius of the subject parcel. The zoning districts within a half-mile include agricultural, residential, commercial, and industrial. Staff finds that the immediate area is primarily residential with commercial developments located west along Manhattan Road and industrial developments located to the east along Manhattan Road. Of the agencies notified for this case, comments were received, but there were no objections. The city of Joliet provided a letter stated that this proposed zoning district may not be compatible with the surrounding area, and also listed the requirements if the development were to be developed within the city. At the planning and zoning meeting, there were 7 objectors that spoke addressing concerns about the rezoning. Staff is recommending denial of the map amendment, and the Planning and Zoning Commission voted 0-6, also recommending denial of the map amendment. I can answer any questions, and the applicant is also here today to speak.
Okay. I will invite the applicant up to the microphone. And then while we're waiting,
I
do we
have
have?
a question
Yeah,
for
go ahead.
staff. This question is for staff. So the reason for the denial was just, as you could see from the map, it's all R3 essentially in the vicinity, correct?
Correct. The main reason, yeah, is because I can do the more zoomed in, but because of the immediate area surrounding the property, it's primarily residential.
Okay.
So that's kind of the main reason. There's no trend towards commercial, industrial on the neighboring properties.
The purple sections, which belong to the city of Joliet, I'm assuming, do you know, are those residential as well for the most part, or?
Yes, all the budding are residential zoning
Okay,
or
thank
in
you.
this within the city.
Thank you.
Member Winfrey.
Yeah, and I would just say that it is definitely all residential. It is almost on top of my house. So I would be absolutely opposed to putting anything commercial in there. It is right at the driveway, the entrance to the Sugar Creek subdivision. All the houses on the beside it are residential across the street from it, and then the driveway coming out. There's already significant traffic along there because from Rowell Avenue, people coming from the businesses on Laraway Road come through there. It is blind coming out of the Sugar Creek Drive. It is not a good spot for commercial property.
Okay, thank you for your comment. Please make sure your microphone's on. It's the button on the right. And then if you would introduce yourself.
Hello, my name's John Keefe. Sounds kind of how the meeting went last time. As far as the residential, there's one house to the right of it that we own. Directly across the street is commercial. Like from the front yard, you're looking at commercial building, which is the confusing part to me. It's industrial that surrounds pretty much the rest of the property. And then where the pink is on the map on the same side of the street, literally 100 feet is commercial. The corner's commercial. You have the Family Dollar there. There's commercial all over there. You have Alesso Drive, which has commercial all over it. And all of this stuff is within 800 feet of the property. So I didn't assume it would be a problem, but last time we had the people that were talking that said that they didn't want it. They're in Sugar Creek, which is across the street. It's all the residentials you can't even, they're not even looking at the property.
Where would the entrance be?
The entrance would be right on 52. And staff said that there was 32 parking spots.
Mhm.
Yeah, which was.
That was what was shown on the site plan
I
that
think
you
we-
submitted. I know it's preliminary, so, but
Yeah, I think that we just drew it, but there's really only 8 people that work there. I mean, it's not. I don't even know why that was. Even with the staff denial at the last meeting, I didn't know staff had denied it because throughout the process, they made it seem like it wouldn't be an issue. And then when we were at the meeting, she read the thing and said staff denies it. That was surprising to me. So I'm not looking to make waves. I don't understand how the commercial is directly across the street. Like the only thing separating the two is the road. And that business is bigger than our business. But right now the property it's an eyesore. There's an old house on it that needs to get torn down, which ever since the last meeting, we've had people have filed complaints because there's a camper on the property, which we have a 85-year-old man living there because he maintains the property. Half the time he's in the city with his daughter, but he became homeless. I said that last time when his other daughter died. So he had nowhere to go. All he had was the camper. He's the one that took care of the property. So I said he could put it there. And when he did, it was fine. But now I just got a call from somebody saying that he can't stay in the camper, which he really wasn't staying in the camper, but the house, people go in the house. All the windows have pretty much been broken out of the house. There's needles. People are going in there and doing, it's not good. And it's the same thing with the back of the property. So if you went to the property, I understand everything that the residents are saying. I really do. Nobody wants to see a big commercial thing, but it's not what it is. And with industrial behind the property, commercial directly across the street, 2 lots down from it is more commercial. You have Alesso Drive, all the truck traffic and everything that you're saying is coming from what was allowed previously. And I understand, but I don't know. I really don't know what else to say other than it doesn't seem it's a perfect fit for what we're looking to do. And if you look at our plans, we were staying 80 feet off the street. We wanted to, it said 2 buildings. The one building's a 50 by 50 office that will house probably 5 secretaries. Then you have the pole building, which is 60 feet by 100, which for a commercial building is really small, but that's going to be 400 feet off of the street. We were leaving all the tree, you wouldn't even see it. So if anything, it seems like it's more beneficial to the community than having it the way it is now. But I'm open for options.
I have questions. So on my way to Joliet, I drive past this property all the time. And yes, their house is atrocious. It's a disaster for sure. So my question is, will the public be coming to this
No,
location?
we're still keeping our place in Romeo. Our main shop is in Romeoville, which it was the county, and then Romeoville annexed us in, but we don't like Romeo. I mean, it doesn't matter. Our plan is to change our address to this, but our business address. But that's just to help out with, we'd rather be in the county than in Romeoville.
Okay.
But we still have to keep that because the crews and everything leave from there.
Oh, they
Because
leave.
They leave from
From
Romeoville.
Romeoville.
So everything gets shipped to Romeoville and that's where they go from.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
because
you'll have just whoever's in the office mostly here?
really just the office. That's why I was saying, even if there was a way with, I was talking to some of the like, is there a way that, I understand the zoning change and how it affects long-term. Like, I'm a 3rd generation fencing. All 4 of my boys work for me. I already got, 5 grandkids and they're all boys. So it's good, but I don't plan on selling this. I plan on doing it, but I understand their concerns of once you change the zoning, it's like that for everybody. So I'm okay with major restrictions as far as this is what it is. I'm okay if special use permits, but overall, I don't think what I plan on doing there is going to hurt property values. I think it's going to help because some of the stuff over there, it's just bad. Even the houses, people are running the businesses. Like I want to do it the right way, but there's businesses being ran all up and down there from the houses, and it's more than obvious. So I don't know. But I'm open for ideas if anybody
So
has
I-
any
so I'm gonna ask
suggestions.
staff, is there any way that he would not have to change the zoning to commercial? Because I do understand when you change zoning in an area that really causes us issues. Is there any way to not change the zoning and allow them to do anything like this? I see Marguerite shaking her head. No.
No, really the use that he's proposing on site, we classify as construction, sales and services. And it's really, that would be permitted in like the C4 and industrial districts. So it would not be permitted in the current residential district.
And when you look at the design, those are all additional shrubs and everything that you would be putting
No,
in?
there's a lot of nice trees on the
There are trees.
property. Yeah,
Right, that I know.
But the property is deep. It's almost 700 feet deep. And when you go to the back, it's not very pretty because you see all the old Joliet industrial buildings that are back there. Like what is that, Mill Road, I think, that goes behind there? Basically, what you have directly across the street is almost exactly what we're looking for. It's all kind of enclosed. you see the cars that park there, but there's no messes really. Which if you live there, do you know what, I don't know the name of the business. Do you know the name of that business, ma'am? The one directly across the, I mean, it's directly across the street on Manhattan Road.
Mhm.
It starts with an R. Rowan or
I can't
It looks
remember.
like it, from our packet, it looks like there's a house across the street, so I'm not worried.
the property's 500 feet. So depending on where you go, yeah, you can say that this is where it is, but no, it's directly across the street.
Gotcha.
I mean, there is a house across the street too, but
Okay. Do we have any other questions for the applicant here? Jerry?
Well, I just was gonna look at, Dawn, go
No,
ahead.
go ahead.
So I was just looking at the comments from the city of Joliet, and they said that it is comparable to the city's B3 general business district, which permits building material sales. If it's enclosed on all four sides by a fence of at least 6 feet in height, the surrounding area appears predominantly residential, which may not be compatible. Requirements of the city's regulations, if the site were developed, it would be stormwater retention, which I see there. Any future failure of septic system would require immediate connection to city sewer. Future well failure. So how is the septic and well on this property right now? You don't know because no one's living in the house, right?
I'm assuming it would need a new septic and well. I mean, I wouldn't. The house is probably 100 years old.
Okay, I don't have any other questions.
Oh, one other for staff. Like, I know that when we do these rezonings, a lot of the times it carries forward forever. Is there a way to not do that? Is there a way to say it's,
It expires. but-
yeah, it expires with the sale of the property or?
Seeing some heads shaking, no.
No, you can't, with like special use permits, you know, that we can do like the non-transferable, but you can't condition map amendments. So once you rezone it to commercial, it'll be rezoned.
Okay. Thank you, and thank you. I do see there's a couple people here from the area that wanted to speak on this case, and I do apologize. A list was just presented to me of speakers or people that intended to speak on these cases today. I did miss it from that last case, and I see there was two people here that wanted to talk, so I apologize. You do have a chance to talk at the end, and the consequential vote is the full board meeting, so we will hear your comments, and I do invite you to come to the full board meeting. But we do have some people from the public that want to talk on this case, so I'll invite them up to the microphone now, if you're still here. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Please introduce yourself.
Yes. My name is Richard Welch. I live in Sugar Creek. I've lived there for 40 years. I'm right on Judge Court, which is right around the corner from where this proposed site is. I expressed before the traffic that you have going down Manhattan Road right now is really terrible. You can't get in, you can't get out. All the other trucks that's in that area right now is very bad. One of the major objections I did have, it is residential. There are school buses that come through there every single day. Several years ago, you all might remember that there was a child killed on Manhattan Road because of the traffic in the school bus. So that's one of my majors. Another problem that I have is with property value. The homes around there that he's speaking of are all nice homes. If he's had reports, I don't know whether he's got any sheriff's reports of people breaking in and staying in the house and that. It's very quiet in that area. We have had no problems, none whatsoever when it comes to that property. If they do, I'd like to see the police reports. The other thing is that, along with the property values, the property lot, he says it looks so bad when you go deep in that lot. That's not true. I have heard a lot of non-truths coming out of you today. At the last meeting, I was here and I spoke before. Once you change into a commercial lot, you're not going to change it back. So anybody comes behind that, it's no telling what they'll build there. So this is why I totally object to this. It is not good for the community. If we need anything around there, we need more housing. It would be a beautiful spot to place some housing in. The other businesses that he speaks of, I can't call the name of it right down the street. That's been there ever since I moved in that subdivision. Very quiet. You have walking trails that come through there, that cross over there. It is so many different things of being residential, and it is a nice area. There aren't any raggedy homes except this place that he's talking about. And truly, the right person could get that, and they can reconstruct that building. So it's not like it's total shambles and like people are destroying it, coming there sleeping. He was told at the last meeting by the rules of the county that those motorhomes can't be there. Guess what? They're still sitting there. He has not moved them. He was told at the last meeting that he has to move those out. So those are all of my objections.
Thank you. Appreciate you being here. If you want to come up, form a line along the white wall if you're looking to speak on this case. Hi.
My name is Bill Kozel.
Hi, Bill.
I've lived in Sugar Creek my whole life. This business that he's talking about across the street, excuse me, it's been there as long as I can remember, since I was a little kid. I think that was probably there before the neighborhood came. It's very nondescript. You won't even know it's there when you're driving by. There's no traffic. I've never seen anybody go in and out of it. It's not what he's making it appear to be. It's not a big commercial business at all. You wouldn't even know it's there unless you knew it was there. And it's called Remin, R-E-M-I-N.
Okay.
To rezone this residential property as commercial would just be haphazard zoning. I mean, what's the whole purpose behind zoning? You have residential and you have commercial. You don't put commercial in between two residences. It's haphazard. It's not good for anybody. Our area has been inundated by commercial development, as you know, all around us. I used to ride my bikes all over the place. Now I can't even ride them. We don't need more commercial in this area. We need more residential. And I hope you vote no on this proposal.
Thank you for your comments. Good morning.
Good morning, Megan Cooper. First off, this side of town has not seen the tender loving care that it deserves. There are incompatible zonings that currently stand, which actually is prohibiting growth in that area. Who would want to buy a house next to a industrial zoning? Making that industrial would actually compromise the growth in that area. The city of Joliet, I know with the new administration, has actually reached out to the county to have a overall plan for that side of town. And right now, there is something that's being put as a comprehensive plan. And the goal on that side of town is to build rooftops with this comprehensive plan to be able to draw in things like grocery stores, shopping malls where the local people could actually go there and be able to get the services that they need as far as whether it's food, clothing or whatever else it may be. But there are places that are around that area, but on the outskirts, that are actually designated for exactly what he wants to do. If this is what he wants to do, he needs to go to those areas and not in the middle of our neighborhood. And Miss, I don't know your name, I'm sorry, but you hit it right on the head when you were talking about one of the previous cases. And you said that we have to consider the neighborhoods that is within and basically people quality of life. To rezone that as industrial, what happens when he decides that he's over this or wants to do another business? Once it's rezoned industrial, it will remain industrial. So by doing something for one person, are you willing to put all these other residents, and like I said, it's a really large residential neighborhood, in jeopardy to allow it because he's a nice guy? I'm pretty sure there's a lot of nice people in here that own homes in that area. It's just not a fit. And there are places, once again, that he can go to and actually have the business that he wants, just not in our neighborhoods. And like he said, he was told at the last meeting that camping was not allowed there. However, the campers are still there. I mean, this has been well over a week ago, and they're still there. So that's not justified to the people that live in that area. It's just not right. And then on top of that, he's sitting up here saying now that this is just going to be a lot to where he's going to have a sales office. That's not what he said the last time. He said that he would have a few trucks in and out of there for that building to be able to go out in other areas where that's not closer to Romeoville, which is his particular spot, but that they would be using that lot to leave out. That now he comes here and he's saying something totally different today. I mean, the story is changing. And are we willing to take this risk because he's a nice guy and destroy what could be or what should be, which should be residential? Let it remain residential. It's zoned that way. Incompatible zoning is just not the way to go. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Hello. Yes, I say
Oh,
no.
please introduce yourself.
My name is Deborah Coleman, and I do say no to that zoning of for it to remain residential. Our area is a beautiful area for us to live in. Our taxes are high, but then that's the people we like to live there. We have beautiful homes there. A lot of people are not having issue with 52, the trucks going in and out of Elgin. Now we're gonna have the same issue on the other side of our homes. We barely get in and out of that area without the problems that we already have with the traffic, with trucks and stuff running in and out. That is not acceptable. I don't know where you live. Do you want this at your house? In and out your neighborhood?
Please direct your
This is our homes. This is not where he lives. This is where we live. And I still say no. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else here that wants to comment on this case? Any comments or questions from committee members? Did you want to address any of those comments?
Well, it was similar to the last meeting. As far as what Richard said, I didn't file a police report, but I know I didn't break my own windows and I didn't leave needles around. As far as in the back of the property, it does. The bike path goes along the property, and that's where kids or whatever, they ride their motorcycles back there. They've done everything. Not a big deal. As far as the next part where she said, I changed my story. I haven't changed my story at all on what I was planning on doing. And would I mind living next to it? No, I wouldn't mind because I know what I'm planning on doing. So yeah, I don't really know what else
Okay. Well,
I can comment on.
thank you for being here.
Yep.
Yeah, the challenge we have here, I personally try to support the applicants when they come to us and they want to start a business or do something on the property that they own. What's hard about this one is we are looking to rezone from residential to commercial. And as a lot of the people that live in that area have brought up today, and some of the comments you guys have made, is once we change it to commercial, it's there. I mean, it's now commercial instead of residential, and it changes the whole area. So it's for that reason, I'm gonna be a no on this one, but it is tough. So I think we can go ahead and call the roll. We have a motion and a second.
Frankie Pretzel,
I'm gonna be a no.
Sherry Newquist,
No.
Don Bullock, Judy Ogala, and Denise Winfrey. Fails.
Okay, I'm sorry and wish you well. On to the next case here. We have 25-2834, zoning case 25-075. This is a special use permit for a similar or compatible to a permitted use in Crete Township. 24606 South Kings Road, Crete, Illinois, County Board District Number 3. Can I get a motion and a second, please?
Motion Newquist.
Second O'Gala.
We have a motion and a second, and then Kelly.
All right, so this is ZC 25-075. The owner and applicant is Levette O'Neill Reese. They're requesting a special use permit for similar compatible to a group care home with maximum of 6 residents. The subject property is in Crete Township and is already approved with a single-family residence. They are looking to convert the residence into a senior group care home for residents. All the work being done is interior to comply with ADA and state requirements. Of the agencies that were notified for this case, there were comments from the Crete Township Fire District and Crete Township Plan Commission. The Fire District provided a letter that mentioned they're going to be requiring addressable style fire alarm systems and a sprinkler system. And then the staff, or the comments that staff received from Crete Township Plan Commission, they included that they would support a condition requiring the home to be licensed by a state. This is already a condition that's included as part of the special use permit. There were no objectors present at the Planning and Zoning Commission, and staff is recommending approval with 5 conditions, and the Planning and Zoning Commission voted 6-0 recommending approval. And then the applicant is also here today to speak if you would have any questions for them.
Okay, thank you. I do invite the applicant to come on up to the microphone here. Hi. And then while we're waiting for them to come up, do we have any questions? I see Member O'Gala's light is on already.
So I just have a question for the Crete Fire, the requests that they have, are those conditions that are already in here? Do we have to add them?
It's not a condition on the special use permit, but when they come in for the building permit for the remodel, fire district approval will be required. So it'll be required part of the building permit.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, welcome. Please turn your microphone on before you talk. It's the button on the right. Thank you. And then introduce both of yourselves.
Good morning. My name is Lavette Reese.
Hi, Levette.
My name is Lisa Bishop, and we're both co-owners of Agape Haven, who is requesting this.
All right. We appreciate you being here. We're going to have some questions for you, but do you want to start off by just kind of describing what you're hoping to accomplish here?
Sure. Yeah, so we have a small home on Kings Road in Crete. We want to provide senior home care for seniors who may need additional assistance in living, but not ready to transition into, say, a long-term care facility. We have 3 bedrooms. We're looking to house a max of 4 seniors. There are some modifications that we may need to do internally to reach ADA compliance. Both of us work in the healthcare facility and have been involved with seniors for 20 plus years. So hoping that we can have this home to support seniors in the community.
Excellent. These are high functioning elderly that just need a little bit of extra help.
Absolutely.
Are we
Yes.
going to have any that are dealing with any dementia or Alzheimer's or at risk of kind of wandering or getting out?
No, no, that is a different scope of service and we will not be able to provide that at this time.
Okay. Do we have any other, I see your light's still on. Okay. Did you have any questions? Any questions? All right, looks like,
I mean, I know the area really well, so I think that the location is very nice and I've been in support before because it's like, if you can have your family being taken care of about people that you know that are going to be there
I totally agree.
versus going to a group setting, it's a benefit. We haven't seen the long-term outcome. We've approved a couple before and hopefully we'll have, maybe we can get a update on our senior group homes, but a better living environment with this setting is really wonderful.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Oh, Member Newquist.
I was going to say, I have not received any objections to this by anybody. So I'm gathering that there's general approval in the neighborhood of this. So thank you.
That's what I like to
Absolutely.
hear.
Thank
Okay,
you.
I think we're ready to vote. Is there anybody else here that wanted to comment on this case before we vote? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay, I think we're ready to vote. Thank you.
Frankie Pretzel,
Yes.
Sherry Newquist.
Yes.
Dawn Bullock,
Yes.
Judy Ogala, and Denise Winfrey.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I wish you well.
Thank you.
Next up, zoning case 25081. A map amendment from C6/R4 to I2 and a special use permit for clean construction or demolition debris fill operations. This is Joliet Township, 420 Rowell Avenue, I apologize. Joliet, Illinois County Board District number 6. Can I get a motion in a second?
Motion Newquist.
We have a motion, we have a second, and then Margie, you want to shed some light on this one?
Certainly. So this zoning case, ZC 25081, the attorney is Ken Carlson, and he represents Gary Schumal of Roll Avenue LLC and also Austin Tyler Construction. I do believe their engineer, Joe Hammer of the Will Group, is also in attendance for questions. The subject's property is the former Joliet Beach Club property, which was also known as Michigan Beach back in the day. The property is currently zoned C6, which is a commercial recreation zoning. There's a very small piece of the property that is south of I-80, and that is zoned R4. So technically, the property in its entirety is split zoned. The beach club closed a few years ago and the applicant purchased the property back in 2017. In early 2018, the applicant was able to obtain a state clean construction demolition debris license to bring in the clean construction and demolition to the site. However, the county does require a special use permit for this and only allows this type of fill operations in an industrial zoning district. So the applicant is resolving the local zoning noncompliance by seeking the proper zoning by rezoning and requesting I2 and a special use for the CCDD fill. Clean construction demolition fill is just defined to be fill operations that receive and process general construction or demolition debris for disposal. It's a means to fill and remediate old quarries. So prior to the Michigan Beach being there, it was a quarry. And there are many state, local, and federal regulations that would apply to filling this lake, essentially. They have to test the soils and the debris that come into the site. They have to keep records and they have to report annually. A lot of these fill operations also are regulated by our Resource Recovery and Energy Division as well to maintain those records. The surrounding area is mixed of old residential areas, so mainly to the west and north of this property is residential, and then there's expanding industrial properties to the north and northeast. We have the Des Plaines River Valley Enterprise Zone, which is just north of the property, pretty much within the city of Joliet, which is also adjacent to the north. Joliet has commented that they would like to review any future development proposals for this property, even if this property would not be annexed in the future. And at the Planning and Zoning Commission, a condition number 5 was added that would require Joliet consultation at the time of industrial development, which would likely occur after the completion of the CCDD fill operation ceases. The proposed use of the property is consistent with industrial uses and districts in the immediate area, particularly to the north. And this property originally was a quarry transitioning into a recreational lake with the artesian wall kind of just filling up the big pit that was the quarry. The closure of the beach club, the lake still remains, but the property is otherwise unmaintained in an area where there's expanding industrial developments and residential areas. So filling in the lake makes sense in terms of lake safety for the community, and in doing so would allow the industrial developments to remain bounded on the eastern side of Rowell, north of I-80, and then also bounded by those railroad tracks east of this property. The development in this area has been stagnant since the beach club opened in 1958, but that just means it's basically you have residential and industrial. The only really change has been the incorporation in the city of Joliet. So Joliet's boundaries have been moving south. And after the fact, site development permit is required for this particular use, especially since the fill operations have started and is offered as one of the conditions of the special use permit. Other conditions include having the applicant work with the Forest Preserve District regarding the district's plans to connect the nearby trails, which is the Waponsie Glacier, Old Plank, and I&M Canal trails, and they would be looking to use Rowell Avenue to connect those trails. Several members of the community came out to voice concerns and objections regarding this. Mainly, it's time to take for the fill operations to fill in the lake. This isn't going to happen overnight. It's going to take many years as they accept different construction jobs in the area to actually come in and deposit, test, and then they just keep filling over the course of time. This area does see a lot of incompatible regulations between the jurisdictions of the city of Joliet and Will County. Mainly, Joliet would allow, warehousing developments in a less industrial intense property, where the county wants to see a higher intensity industrial district. There is increased trucks in the area, and there's a greater chance of trucks not following the designated truck routes. Right now, the way the trucks can legally go is south along Rowell, and they can connect to either New Lenox to the south. You have Mills in the area, and you have Briggs that would provide direct access to the interstate system. But that really requires the truck drivers to follow those avenues and to have the property owner provide documentation to the drivers to make sure that they are going the right way, and then also the road districts enforcing their weight limits. Their other comments included no direct benefit to the residents in the immediate area, and they greatly need development that supports the residential nature of the area. There were several comments that they would love to see something in terms of the long run of like self-service storage to help support that residential character. The Planning and Zoning Committee voted to approve the map amendment with a vote of 4-2, recommending approval, as well as the same vote 4-2 with 5 conditions for the special use permit. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Was this back when it was a quarry, was it zoned industrial then and then changed to commercial?
Basically, when it was a quarry, it most likely predated the county's zoning. My guess would just be unrestricted if they found resources back at that time. If it was either not zoned or unrestricted, it would have been a permitted use.
It would have had to have been in the 40s and 50s, maybe 30s.
Right.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead. Member Newquist.
So when I look at the C6 portion of this, that is almost completely surrounded by industrial at this point, correct?
Correct.
So, I mean, that would be very much in keeping with the general character of that section. But the little R4 section, it looks like that little piece right now is, if I'm reading this map correctly, is surrounded by A1 at the moment. And then there's across the way there, then it starts in the R4 zoning. Am I reading that right?
So
Okay.
that little piece that is a triangle, it looks like this property, most likely I-80 when it came through, cut off the property. So that's how it had that little piece to the south. In terms of rezoning, the county does not allow the creation of split zone lots. So essentially we have to rezone the whole property to a single zoning district as opposed to keeping it split zoned.
Do we know what the plans are for that small parcel?
I don't believe the applicant has any specific ones, but I do know some of the trails that the Forest Preserve has are in that vicinity.
Okay,
So
so
there
that
may
is
be
the
further
s-
discussion between the private parties of potential use of that.
Okay, so
area.
that is, okay, that was gonna be my next question was, okay, thank you.
The applicant is here. I invite you, please, to come up to the microphone. You might be able to answer some of these questions while we're waiting. Member Winfrey?
And just north from there is Woodland School. And my concern is that with the trucks not always following mapped out areas, that they take Rowell North, which puts them right at the schools, right where the school buses are, right where the school is, in order to go out onto around Fourth and onto Washington Street. So I have some concern about that. I'm also aware that for the houses that are there, this then presents a lot more dust, a lot more traffic for those residents. So I'm not in favor of this.
Thank you. Welcome. Please turn the microphone on. It's the button on your right there. And then let us know who you are.
Good morning, Ken Carlson on behalf of the applicant. I also have with me Gary Schumel, the owner of the property and the president of Austin Tyler Construction, and Joe Hammer, the applicant's engineer.
Okay.
I mean, we certainly can be happy to answer questions that you have. I think importantly, there's a few things to remember. You know, this is a CCDD facility. That's a very defined term under Illinois law, and it's very limited on the material that can go in there. Uncontaminated soil, brick, concrete without rebar, blacktop, those kind of things. But I think importantly, it's uncontaminated soils. Processes are set up when material is brought in to both visually inspect those loads and test those loads with a detection device that picks up odors and certain chemicals. Obviously, loads that are bad are always rejected. Some things about the site itself. So the Beach Club Lake is a spring-fed lake. You know, the benefit, I think, to the overall community, everybody, is that that lake currently generates an outfall of 500,000 gallons to 1 million gallons of water a day that leaves that lake and goes into the city's stormwater system. As filling occurs on this property with CCDD, that ultimately, the goal there is to stop that discharge, which of course then has the function of rehabilitating the aquifer, which is where that water is coming from. So, you know, we believe that's a very significant and important benefit to the overall community, whether it's Joliet or Weld County. The interim use, this fill, it's a long-term use. I think importantly, and what can be, what's helpful to control Ms. Winfrey's comments, the predominant user of this CCDD facility is Austin Tyler. It's going to be controlled by Gary Schumel. Gary Schumel is going to direct, other than, for example, when Austin Tyler is doing those projects in the subdivision, for example, that's immediately west of the industrial that's west of this piece. I mean, obviously, you don't want them driving 15 miles to get back into this site. But for all other purposes, the traffic is intended to go south, Mills Road, or Rowell to Mills Road. He can control that because he controls these drivers' paychecks. I think that's important. And this is not going to be an open CCDD site. He's doing this so Austin Tyler has a place to put their sewer and construction spoils for their projects. Certainly be, and ultimately, I should say down the road, I mean, the ultimate use of this property is intended to be a construction yard with a building where repair work and storage is done inside of the building. You know, the little triangle that's on the south side that's really under and south of Route 80, I suspect that may look like that 50 years from now. Because Route 80's, obviously, there are a number of rights and obligations that go with having property that's crossed by an interstate. And probably makes that little parcel unusable for all practical purposes. So we'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay,
I have a question.
go ahead, Member Ogata.
So my question really is related to the water, and I saw that soil and water didn't have an issue, and there were no other issues as well. How do you guys stop the water that's coming from the spring right now to keep it contained so that it goes into the aquifer versus leaking out? I'm just confused.
So ultimately, the plug is in fact the CCDD material as it put on top. I mean, the idea is there's more pressure on top than pressure pushing up. Right now, there's no pressure. You know, it just comes up and goes out the storm sewer.
That was my only question.
As you're dumping CCD, the water has to go, it's going to go out faster into the storm sewer. Is flooding, maybe I'm wrong on that. I'm not an engineer. Does that happen? I mean,
The good part is I'm not an engineer
Yeah.
either. That's why Joe is here.
right. Are other people worried about flooding?
We've met with the city of Joliet regarding that process. The fill process itself is relatively slow from a stormwater management standpoint, and the capacities of the storm sewer that drain this area. We've reviewed that with the city of Joliet engineering staff. They are not concerned about that. We've provided calculations to them to demonstrate what that expectation is, and they are on board with it.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions from this committee? Okay. Thank you all for being here. Do we have anybody here from the public that wanted to talk on this case? This is your chance. Are they coming for this case? Yeah, okay. You can come right through here. Good afternoon. Thank you for coming today. Please tell us who you are.
I am Betsy Satcher. I am a resident of this area that they are speaking about. I've been there now for almost 50 years. I'm a homeowner. And this area that they're talking about, number one, I don't think they have specified exactly what they're going to do, whether it's going to be a place to store parts or trucks or whatever. But what I can say, I don't think this is going to be a good place for this business because I am concerned about the health and safety of the residents in this area and where it's located. And if you could have a map of what's really there, it's a residential area. The only way to access this property is Rowell Avenue. And there are residents there. There are schools there. On Rowell Avenue, there are 2 schools. If you turn and go north, you're going to have to pass Woodland School. If you turn to the south coming out from this area, you have to go past Thompson School. And this is a route that they're saying that they would use going south. There's a railroad track. So when they're coming out from this business, we know trains constantly inconvenience residents in this area because we don't have a choice. So when the trains are there sitting on the tracks, where are the vehicles going to go? Except past, if they go north on Rounds, it is Woodland School. Let's say they go west, they will pass 2 grade schools, which is Keith and Washington Junior High. So there's no way to get in and out of this area except going past schools. And we are concerned about the safety of our children and the quality of health for our lives. We do not need, shouldn't have to compete with that extra traffic in our area. It is just, it's not going to be a good fit. Any industrial business like that, whatever they're going to build there, I can't see. And the business that are already there, those businesses have been there for years and years and years and have not brought on any extra traffic or anything like that. So if they fill in this quarry, the property there, if they fill that in, think about how it might and will, I think, for sure, negatively impact the quality of life for the residents that are there. Land, water, and also, our, the air, the environment. So I just don't understand how this business will bring anything positive to the residents that live in this area. So I'm just totally opposed to, an industrial business coming to this area because there's only one way. Rowell Avenue is the only way that they can access this business. And no matter how you get in and out, you're going to be coming past schools. And the residents, we just don't need that any extra traffic right now, in our area. And truly, please, I'm talking about safety and health issues, quality of life. We want housing. We want things coming into our area that is really going to help us, improve our quality of life. How will whatever come to our area, how are we going to personally benefit? And how will these businesses or whatever, how is it going to be resources for our area? Because we know that we deserve to have, a great quality of life, just like everyone else. So I'm asking at this time to please do not vote in favor of this, to actually do some research. And it's the old Michigan Beach. If you don't know that area, just please take your time to come and drive past there to see what I'm actually talking about. You have one route, and that's Rowell Avenue. So on that, I'm asking, please do not permit them to right now go ahead with what they are planning. Do some more research. Let's just see how will this actually, a business in this little small area, how is it going to actually benefit the residents that's been there forever and ever, and especially our schools? Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Mary White, and I vote no to this. It has been studied by Harvard University and other places. It has shown that for people to flourish, they need to have 6 domains of life that not just okay, that they're good in, not just okay, but are good in. Happiness and life satisfaction, mental and physical health, meaning and purpose, character and virtue, close relationships, financial and material stability. And what I want to really focus in on is the mental and physical health. We live in a community where our neighbors who live in this area, the children and the families who send their children to school, the seniors who live in the senior citizen building around there, and all of that there are resilient people. And we continue to get back up and to do what it is that we need to do in order to live in our community to make it more safe. But with everything that is going on, the increased truck trafficking, which is putting stuff all in the atmosphere, fumes and things that are harming the body. It also harms the mental state of the people who live in that area. If you would look that up and research it for yourself, you would find out that that is correct. The physical health and all of this here. We do not want to become another Cancer Alley, such as is in New Orleans. Cancer Alley, because of the industrialization of a community who is a poor community, and people can't go anywhere else, and all of this here are now dying with cancer. Their children are dying with cancer. Growing up, we don't want that to happen in our community. And so I vote no to this.
Thank you for your comments. Welcome back.
Thank you, Megan Cooper. First off, as far as the filling, I know that there has been a lot of complaints in that area about flooding. And I just have a question. It was brought to my attention that if you actually look at the map, that also the drainage from I-80 goes into that area as well. So that is a really big concern of mine, is the increase in drainage with filling this, also with the drainage from off of I-80, with the sewer drainage be able to handle all of that without actually causing more flooding in the area, because there is flooding in that area, especially when it rains. I mean, there's flooding in the streets and everything. Another thing is also that road in front of it is pothole heaven. I mean, you want to tear up your car, constantly go down that road. With the increase in trucks that come there, we all know from roads that have been new, like Laraway Road. Laraway Road is now pothole heaven over there just because they increased truck traffic with the weight of trucks that are in that area and the breakdown of the roads. And another thing is also with the neighborhood that is on the south side of this property. I also agree there are schools there. There are also churches. There's a large residential neighborhood, and that would be the main way for them to get in and out of that area. There are no sidewalks in that area. So safety is a large concern when it does come to this. The safety of the residents in the area and also the kids too, because with Thompson School isn't just a regular elementary school. It is there for kids that actually have issues. All the kids that maybe have like behavior issues, some, mental things going on that are within District 86. This is the school that they are bused to. And it is right along that road for them to get in and out. And once again, sidewalks, safety, drainage, the current condition of the road, and also with them going in and out of it, is there any plan to actually maintain and to keep the road clean? Because we all know that you never want to ride behind a dump truck on 80 or even through town because they do drop things. So with the dumping, my dad did dump trucking for over 30 years, and I actually rode with him a lot of times. If you go into these areas where trucks dump, right on the main streets, you always see a lot of debris. That's a large concern, and especially for it being also right within a residential neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, is there anybody else that wanted to talk on this case? Okay, and I'll give you guys a chance because I know your things were brought up that you might want to address. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is really for the applicant. I didn't, if I missed this in my packet, my apologies, but what is the anticipated increase in truck traffic as a result of this business? Do you have any information on that?
Well, so ultimately, there's a difference between what happens during the interim use and then the ultimate use. You know, the ultimate use, we projected somewhere 5 to 6 because it's going to be a very limited number of employees with up to 10 truck movements per day taking equipment to or from that site. You know, the interim fill use is sort of dependent on how quickly that can happen. I think importantly to understand is this thing, you know, the fill activity started in 2003, and there was about a year of fill activities with no objections, no complaints, no anything about truck traffic until the county, you know, and they done their inspections, didn't find violations until they determined there was a site development permit requirement. So that's really why we're here along with this rezoning. But to answer your question, I mean, the number of trucks is going to be dependent on the rate at which CCD can go in there from Austin Tyler projects.
Can you give us a range?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, you know, our range for potentially filling that site is 8 to 10 years. So if it's, you know, 40 trucks a day.
That would be on the high end, Gary?
Yeah, I'm Gary Schumel. I'm the president of Austin Tyler Construction. I mean, the other thing you got to realize is it's a 9-month-a-year business. So right now, we're not running any trucks. Some days you could have 50, some days you can have none. For the most part, you know, like it says, you can say on average 50.
Oh, sorry, Frankie. And there is only the one road that allows access. Are there any alternate access possibilities?
Well, there's no access to the site other than Rowell, because that runs the width, the length of the west end of the property.
Yeah, I couldn't tell from the map if there were any other, you know, roads.
Any comments on this end?
I mean, I guess I would also just make a couple of comments on the condition of Rowell Avenue. I mean, Mr. Schumel has been a participant in this community for years through Austin Tyler. He's talked to the Joliet Township Highway Commissioner and has an understanding with respect to the upgrade, I think, and maintenance of that road. So, I mean, he's out there addressing that. With respect to the drainage issues, I mean, we fully anticipate that those issues will be addressed from an engineering standpoint in connection with the site development permit that's required as a condition of the special use permit.
Okay. Tough one. All right, thanks. Did you have anything else? Last chance. Anybody else want to speak on this case? Okay. Not sure how I'm going on this one. Yeah. Okay, Don, I think we're ready. If you want to call the roll.
Okay, for the map amendment, Frankie Pretzel.
Yes.
Sherry Newquist,
Yeah, this is a tough one. Yes.
Herbert Brooks.
I'm gonna have to abstain.
Abstain.
Do I have to reveal the reason or?
I don't think so.
But the duty says no, then that's all.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Don Bullock.
No.
Judy Ogala. And Denise Winfrey. 3-2.
Okay, motion carries on the map amendment.
Special use permit, Frankie Pretzel,
No.
Sherry Newquest.
Wait, I'm sorry, what are we?
This is the special use permit.
Oh, the
Special use
special use.
permit for clean construction.
I'm a yes.
Herbert Brooks, abstain. Dawn Bullock. No. Judy Ogala. Yes. And Denise Winfrey. 3-3.
2-3.
No, I'm sorry.
Two
2
to
to
3.
3.
Okay. Motion fails. On to number 6. Zoning case ZC 25085. This is for a special use permit for a commercial solar energy facility. Multiple variances. This is on vacant property on South Spencer Road in New Lenox, Illinois County Board District Number 2. Can I get a motion and a second, please?
Motion Newquist.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Kelly?
So, yeah, this is ZC 25-085. The solar company for this solar facility is Next Amp Solar, and they're requesting a special use permit to construct 2 commercial solar energy facilities on site. The total acreage of the site is 110 acres, but the special use permit area will only apply to approximately 63 acres of the site. The applicant has submitted their application, has complied with all the submittal requirements for the commercial solar energy facility. Of the agency comments for this site, the NRI report found that the Lisa score was 144, placing it in the potential growth and incorporated areas. For the local jurisdictions, the Village of New Lenox provided a letter stating they are not objecting to the commercial solar energy facility and provided a list of suggested conditions. This can be found in the staff report. The Village of Frankfurt said they had no comment since this is within the limits of the New Lenox boundary agreement. And also, since the staff report was published, there was a letter of objection received. And this was from a resident saying that their objection was for the solar facility impacting the forested portion on like the northern portion of the property due to possibly having negative environmental and visual impacts. But staff would note that the special use permit area does not include this section that the letter was referring to. There were 3 objectors that attended the Planning and Zoning Commission with concerns with the solar facility. Staff is recommending approval with the special use permit with 3 conditions. And the Planning and Zoning Commission also voted to recommend approval with a vote of 6-0. The solar company is here and they have a presentation for you if you guys would like.
Okay. I invite the solar company up to the microphone. And then do we have any questions from the committee for staff? Right. Yeah. Matt. I don't know, he stepped out, but Matt's here. Okay. Welcome. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you all. My name is Jack Curry, Director of Business Development for Nexamp, here on behalf of the applicants. And I know you all are very familiar with solar projects at this point, so I promise to keep it brief. Nexamp has come before the county many times for solar projects, so I also keep it brief on the company overview. So we can skip ahead to the slide titled Project Overview, please. In the meantime, as a refresher, Nexamp was founded by 2 Army veterans in 2007, and we've developed projects across the country, and we are the largest community solar developer, owner, operator in the space. Specific to Illinois, we have over 40 operating projects throughout the state and have developed a couple through Will County's processes. So here we have the sites. The parcel outline is shown in black and the special use area shown in yellow. The site is just off of South Spencer Road. And although the special use area is approximately 63 acres, the actual solar project area is much smaller than that. There are sort of two sub arrays that are bifurcated by a stream running through the middle. And the westernmost array is approximately 12 acres and the eastern side is 13. So they are considerably smaller than the special use area, which we included some buffers to allow in case there are any additional comments about the layout from county. We can proceed to the next slide, please. So here's just sort of an overview of the two sites and how they're connected by an access road splitting them. And if we'd like to proceed to the next slide, please. We understand that the county has seen dozens and dozens of solar projects. We also understand that not all of them are created equal. We do feel like this is a property well suited to this type of development. So if you look along the property frontage on South Spencer Road, there is a pipeline. There's also a pipeline running diagonally southwest to northeast through the middle of the entire property. And there is lastly a pipeline that runs along the southern boundary. So there are three sort of obstructions there that would prohibit other types of development, such as residential or commercial. Additionally, the site is sort of split by a stream in a flood zone. I think it'd be challenging for commercial, industrial, or residential development to sort of be squeezed into that site on the eastern boundary where that array area is. And lastly, there are transmission lines and a railroad that run along the southern boundary of the property. And I don't really expect that there would be a lot of residential interest directly adjacent to those structures. If we wouldn't mind proceeding to the next slide, please. And if we look at the western site, a pretty similar argument that the site is sort of squeezed in between pipelines, a flood zone, railroad tracks, and transmission lines. So again, there's not really a lot of room or interest for that matter in commercial, industrial, or residential development. Next slide, please. And so this is sort of just a summation of all of that. The result of all these development constraints is a limited area sort of along Spencer Road, which you can see on the northwest portion of the site that could potentially be open for other types of development if there was interest. But in terms of our plans, that's going to remain farmland with the property owner. And I know there was a letter submitted and staff had commented on this about potential loss of trees or habitat along the northern side of the northern portion of the property. We are not touching that, and that can remain as is. And now I'll invite up our zoning attorney, Nick Standiford, to comment.
Good morning. Is it still morning? Good afternoon. Nick Standiford. I'm a land use attorney at Shane Banks. It's good to be back here. So wanted to just point out just two things. So the first is we went to New Lenox and as part of the Will County's process and talked to them about this project. And we were proud to get a letter of no objection from New Lenox, which we were very proud of. And we thought that that was attributable to, Jack said, not all sites are created equal. We think this is a good site. New Lenox has in their comprehensive plan this natural resources framework plan. And this is one of the 7 areas in New Lenox where they want to conserve the land use. They want to keep it away from big scale, big box industrial development or residential development. Jack talked about the pipeline that's there. But this is a site that, New Lenox, since they didn't object, we thought that it was fitting with their comprehensive plan. Next slide. This wouldn't strike you as a conservation use, a solar farm, but it really is. Very passive use, no lighting, no odors, no sound. And at the end of the project, it's decommissioned. So it's removed from the ground. So it essentially land banks the project for up to 40 years. So we were proud to get New Lenox's non-objection. We're also proud to have a letter from the Forest Preserve saying that they really didn't object to the project. They just wanted those trees to be preserved. And as you can see from this slide, those are all staying. There was a neighbor who submitted a letter, and I think staff mentioned that they were concerned about the trees and the loss of habitat, wildlife habitat in that area. But again, we're not touching that area. That's the shaded area at the top.
Are you taking any trees down?
I don't believe so. Jack, you were at the site today, right? So, and then I wanted to point out one more thing. At the public hearing, there were some interested parties who came up and had concerns. They were mostly around, at the bottom, you see that kind of widening of the creek. That's the Jackson branch that flows out to the Des Plaines River, but that's where there are some beavers, I guess, and they dam underneath the culvert where the railroad tracks are. So they were saying, is there any way we can get rid of those beavers? And so, I'll let Jack. Jack went with Soil and Water today, I think, to the site, and they talked about that. So I'll let Jack come back and talk about the beavers.
I can think of some ways.
I bet you all didn't expect to be hearing about beavers today, did you? Yeah. If you wouldn't mind advancing to the next slide, please. I won't go through all the due diligence we've done. You all are familiar with how solar products are developed, I think, at this point. I would point out that we had mentioned that there's sort of a waterway that goes through the property. Right now, we're in the process of permitting through the Army Corps, and there is an associated flood zone that comes with that. We are in the second stage of our flood zone modeling. So once we do that, it's basically to show that the proposed conditions on the site do not create a rise scenario to the pre-development conditions. And once we finish those shortly, we'll be submitting those to the county engineering staff for review, and then that'll go to FEMA for a map amendment. So that's sort of a wrinkle for this property I wanted to point out. In terms of outreach, Nick had talked about the hearings that we had done with the Village of New Lenox. And we've had a couple different meetings with the New Lenox Fire Department, and we've committed to meeting all their requirements. So we're sort of going through the access road schematics that they would like to see. We have discussed and we have a letter of intent with the New Lenox Highway Department. They stated that they will be issuing an access permit once we provide final engineering plans and that they do not require a road use agreement. And then, as Nick mentioned, we did have a site walk this morning with the Soil and Water Conservation District, mostly to look at some of those drainage concerns that other folks had brought up at previous hearings and to generally get any sort of additional comments, questions, concerns that they might have. The outcome of that meeting, to sum it up, is a lot of the drainage issues that maybe some folks that the folks to the south had mentioned are a result of a culvert on ComEd and Canadian National's property to the south of ours. There's really not a lot that we can do for offsite improvements to mitigate some of those concerns. And I think there were also some concerns tied to beaver dams on our property. And based on some of the feedback from Soil and Water, there's really not a lot we can do to remove those dams either. So I think sort of the best case scenario is that Nexamp can commit to, well, we would do this anyway, but we'll be doing a field investigation for all the subsurface drain tiles shortly, and we'll be submitting that to Soil and Water. So I think that will be part of the effort to make sure that we can maintain existing conditions on the site as much as possible, and to make sure that we can clear debris if necessary, if it's not impacting any sort of wildlife on the property. And then Nick had sort of talked about some of the comments we had gotten from neighbors nearby. I had spoken with a couple of them prior to the previous hearing, and it didn't seem like folks had really any significant objections to the project, mostly just questions. And we are about 600 feet away at the very closest from the nearest residence. And the last thing I'll point out is we've talked about pipelines a couple different times. We're in the process of having the pipeline companies survey the center line of their lines, and then we'll be going out and do the depth surveying, basically to make sure that we give enough clearance for our access roads if they need to traverse over those pipelines. And then we also included some slides, and I don't know that we need to go through all of them for the sake of time, about decommissioning requirements per the AMA, which you all are familiar with, Nexamp's modular recycling, which we have presented before, basically a partnership with We Recycle Solar to make sure that the modules can be recycled at the end of the project life. And I will stop there in the interest of time and open it up to any questions that the committee may have. Thank you.
Member Bella, go ahead.
Thank you. So I have several questions, and some is for staff. So New Lenox had conditions. Are they included in the project here so that they should be met? Or do we need to add those?
So the first condition is that it complies with the solar facility or the commercial solar commercial solar energy facility ordinance. So that one I didn't add. The other one is that they have to, or is about using concrete and asphalt surface for the drive. I did not add that one. And then another one is using the fixed not farm fence. That one was not added. Another one was doing the western property line is adding landscaping along that. That one was not added either. And then the last one was that the New Lenox Fire Protection District has to, they have to meet all those requirements. And that, as I mentioned earlier, that's required as part of the permitting process.
Right, so I understand then the fire will be taken care of.
Yeah, that one will be, yeah.
And I'm having trouble because it's a large packet, I guess, I don't know, looking at that. And so is it a way you could bring up the New Lenox requests up on the screen for us to look at? Thank you.
Yeah,
Where's
it's
the
on
copy?
page 16 of the staff report. It's included where we.
It keeps
Okay.
flying off on me. I go so far and then it goes back to page 1. So I don't know why I'm having trouble with that.
I can pull it up too. 1 second.
Mm-hmm. It's too much. So number 2 is the New Lenox Highway Department and Fire District wanted to have a concrete or asphalt surface with a portion of access drive located within the Spencer Road right of way. What would there be besides this if this is, so we're not requiring this, correct?
No, this was not added as a condition.
So I would like to add that, yeah, I see mine kept jumping, but he gave me a copy. Yep, thank you though, Dawn. I don't know why mine was jumping. But I think that's something that, I know that some solar facilities here and there have been requests for a concrete access, and then some there have not. So I would like to make a motion to add this as requested by the Village of New Lenox. So let's make that motion.
Can I do a friendly amendment to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think we should add conditions 2, 3, and 4.
Oh, you want to do all that?
Yeah, 3 was the fixed not farm fence and 4 was the landscaping.
I was going to do it.
Ryan,
one at a
did you have
time.
some
I work
concerns with
that.
this or?
I want to make sure that we're clear on what we're talking about with this access drive. Are we only talking about where it meets the
The
road
apron.
or the entire part of the property going into the site?
Just the apron when you come off the road
Okay.
into the site. They're looking for it there. The rest would be stone, I'm sure.
Okay.
And stone everywhere else.
So we don't have an issue with the conditions you referenced, except for number 4, the screening. If we could pull up the site plan by chance, that would be helpful, so I can explain why. We have to go to Jack's presentation. Thank you. So this shows how far we are from Spencer Road. And so most of the year, it's going to be crops in front of there, and you're not 600 feet from there. And so it's also a kind of an oddly shaped. You'd have to run the landscaping diagonally
Yeah, it
all
really
the way up to
is.
the top. And we just feel like it's a kind of a waste to have all that landscaping in there for neighbors who didn't ask for it. And, you know, given how far away it is, given that there's a pipeline, given that there's crops, we thought it would be a better use of resources to, you know, to not have the landscape.
And that's where the closest house will be, at least 600 feet away approximately. Is that what you were saying?
There's a few houses there on the
Yeah.
West side of Spencer Road.
Okay, thank you. Should I can amend my amendment for numbers 2 and 3. How's that?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All right, can you say it so that we are all clear on what we're?
Yes, so what I'm proposing is that we amend it, and Judy, correct me because if I'm saying this wrong. Number 2 says the access to the subject site shall include a concrete or asphalt surface, and we are talking about just the access drive, not the full, the apron, not the full facility. And then also that we use basically agricultural fencing instead of chain link. So those are the 2 amendments.
Okay, we have a
Or
motion.
conditions.
Gala seconds that. And then you want to do a roll call?
to add the two conditions, number 2 and 3. Frankie Pretzel,
Yes.
Sherry Newquist,
Yes.
Herbert Brooks, Dawn Bullock, Judy Ogala,
Yes.
and Denise Winfrey.
I have other questions.
And then back to Member Ogala.
Right. So my question here has to do with the connectivity posts. So I like to have, I'm going to request that I think we do this now, right, Marguerite? All the connectivity to ComEd will be buried except for the 3 ComEd posts. Is that correct?
I mean, there's a requirement in the zoning ordinance in terms of all underground cabling within the facility has to be buried essentially, except when approved as a condition of the special use permit. So if there's no condition currently, then
And there is,
everything's.
okay, there is no condition yet currently, right?
No, there is no condition on this special use.
So then everything would be buried.
Correct, yes.
Right. Okay, that's very good.
Besides the ComEd.
I
3
know
poles,
those
but
ComEd
yeah.
polls are, yes, but that helps with the looking at it. I wish we had done this years ago where we don't have these posts all over everywhere. So I'm happy to see that. And then I know you're meeting with Soil and Water, so that's good. So are you guys leasing this property or do you own the property?
We are leasing the property, and the property owner just got here and would like to say a few words. Sorry, he was rushing here to get here in time. We can hold his statement until after your questions, though.
Yeah, so that's fine. You're leasing the property. So then my question, one of the things we have that I've experienced is between the time that this starts and this process, and then we actually put the solar equipment into the ground. There's sometimes can be a lag time, in which case the ground just is vacant. Okay. So that's like a real problem for me. I don't like it to be vacant because I think it should have a cover crop on it so that we can maintain and control the any weeds and things like that. And if it's a cover crop, you're not going to have things very tall and it's very beneficial. Is there a plan for that? Do you know?
I did speak with a tenant farmer earlier or late last week, and I can ask them if they'd be willing to do a cover crop until we're able to begin construction. But I don't want to speak for them that they're willing to plant that. But Nexamp would take, if they're not interested in doing a cover crop, then Nexamp would take the obligation of ensuring that whatever's planted on the site between now and construction would be maintained.
Okay, so Marguerite, I'm sorry, and I forgot your first name.
Kelly.
Kelly, you're doing this. Kelly, can I put a condition on to ensure that we do have a cover crop during that time? Because I know when you put a cover crop on, they can still do construction and everything. And at least there's something that's there to begin with versus just nothing.
I can jump in. So this request did have the variances for the number of mowings and ground cover plant height. What we've seen, and we've worked with solar developers to use the basically cover crop establishments before they actually start construction if they need to do that. That gives them actually the ability to establish their variances, since variances, they have a year to establish. So they should be planting the cover crop hopefully within the next growing season, like spring. If not, they could go through an extension period and then hopefully, since they go through the variance process, are able to establish those rather than waiting for the permitting to be issued for the special use.
Okay,
which
so
takes
there
longer.
is a plan for the cover crop.
Yeah.
I don't know when they're going to start doing any of this. I don't know if the crops are off that field yet or not.
Crops are off as of a couple days ago.
Okay. And I know we put wheat as a cover crop on ours, but I know there's a time frame to plant wheat, so I don't know if that's gone or not. So if it's still available to plant wheat, it'd be great to have that done. Then you have that nice substance there that's going to contain the land. That would be great. So hopefully we can look into that. So that's one of the big issues that I've found throughout. And since the farmer has taken all the crops off, and is there an intent to farm this property next year, or are you guys going to be beginning installing next year?
I think that's sort of a question that we're trying to figure out now. And candidly, it depended on how the permitting process went with the county. If we were able to get a special use permit, I think that would sort of dictate some of the timeline. So I left it with a tenant farmer that we'd reevaluate in a couple of weeks before that they would need to start planting or ordering seed, fertilizer, et cetera.
Okay. So then the other thing that I know that has happened, and a lot of farmers complained to me about this, is that while we're in this transitional period, the farmer has come and planted their crops. And then they've gone to do harvesting only to find out that the solar company has come there. They've thrown down their board so they can do soil borings and just run over their crops. And then they're like, well, it's no big deal. We talked to the property owner. That's for them to do it. We'll make up the cost. For me, I'm married to a farmer, and I know how much time my husband spends doing all this work, and all farmers, and the time and effort they put into making from the beginning to the end. And I think it's disrespectful to the farmer, whether he's the owning or leasing it, that is his crop. And if you're going to do that, then the farmer should be notified, not just the landowner. Sometimes the landowner doesn't live in the area. So I just want to know, what would your intent be if that would happen? Because I don't want to hear about the farmer who's leasing it saying, hey, you know what, they didn't even tell me I went there to harvest and my crop has been run over. Obviously not the entire thing, but a portion of it.
There is a section in our standard lease agreement that says that we need to coordinate with the landowner, and if there's a tenant farmer, within the tenant farmer, before we plan out construction for the next year. So that they can plan accordingly if they're going to be ordering seed, fertilizer, et cetera. So that's one component about actual start of construction. But for geotech testing, as well as push-pull testing with the piles, that is, we can't plan for that as far ahead. So we always make sure to be in touch with the property owner. And if they're not actively farming it, then the tenant farmer. So that's what's going on in this case, where the property owner is not farming themselves. So we're in direct communication with the tenant farmer. If we ever need to get out to the site for any reason, even, this morning, we're not doing anything on the property. We're just walking it. So we make sure that we coordinate. And there's also, we make sure to establish if we have to get out onto the site when there are crops out there, to make sure that before we do that, we agree on how the reimbursement will be structured. So that's laid out in our lease, but we want to make sure that the tenant farmer agrees with the calculation if we do need to damage any crops, because we understand it's not just the monetary value, that there's a lot of time and effort that
Right.
goes into it.
Right. So you definitely have in your agreement that you will work with the tenant farmer prior to doing anything. Walking on the property is completely different.
Right.
But- Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Judy. Anybody else? Any other questions? And you said the property owner's here?
He is.
Yeah. I'm not sure we do. He came all this way, if you'd like to say anything.
Hello. My name is Sean Connolly, representing the property owner. It's my grandfather. He acquired the property about 30 years ago or so in the late 90s with the intents of developing it. Kind of business models changed since then, so we've been farming it for the last 30 years. We actually got a good working relationship with the farmer, kind of a friend of ours. And I never really had any plans for the property. And then Nexamp came to us with the idea of solar. We really like that idea. It's pretty much the highest and best use case for this property. They've been great to work with, and appreciate your consideration for approval. Thank you.
I just want to say that when you say 90s and 30 years ago, that's scary and sad.
Any other questions? Anyone else here want to speak in this case before we vote? All right, I think we're ready, Dawn.
Okay, Frankie Pretzel,
Yes.
Sherry Newquist,
Yes.
Herbert Brooks.
Yes.
Dawn Bullock,
Yes.
Judy Ogala,
Yes.
and Denise Winfrey. Approved.
Motion carries. Congratulations, you guys. Good luck. Next on the agenda, zoning case 25074. This is a map amendment to rezone the property from A1 to C6. And multiple variances here. This is on South Dixie Highway in Beecher, Illinois County Board District Number 3. And can I get a motion in a second?
Motion Newquist.
Second O'Gallagher.
We do have a motion and a second. Kelly, turn it over to you.
Okay, let me. All right, so this is ZC 25074. The subject property is located right off Route 394. They're requesting a map amendment from A1 to C6. The subject property has been operating as a commercial recreational use since approximately 1970. The applicant was placed into violation for building 2 structures without a permit. When they came in for the building permit and staff was reviewing the building permit, they found that the structures were located on the northern parcel of this property, which is zoned A1. The use occurring would be permitted use in the C6 district, which is the southern parcel of zone, but not the A1 district. The applicant is looking to rezone the northern parcel to combine these 2 parcels and resolve the violation. Of the agencies notified, there were no objections received. Staff is recommending approval of the map amendment, and Planning and Zoning Commission also voted 6-0 recommending approval.
All right, thanks, Kelly.
Just a question. I just want to confirm, I mean, this has been here for forever. I mean, they basically, from what I'm understanding from reading this, they didn't even know necessarily that the building was on the the agricultural zoned section of it until somebody complained? Or because they built the other 2 buildings without the permit, correct?
Correct.
That was
that's-
when this all came to light.
Yeah, and then when they submitted the building permit, basically it was found that it was located in that northern parcel, and it is actually that parcel zoned A1. So they look like, if you look at it, they look like the same property, but yeah, the northern part where the buildings are located, zoned A1.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is the applicant here today? Come on down. Yeah.
I'm also going to put a photo on the screen so you can better see the C6 parcel and the A1 parcel, just for a visual.
Welcome. Thanks for being here. Please turn your microphone on, the button on the right. Thank you.
Yes, when the owner, I'm representing the owner, when the owner purchased the property, they didn't know it was 2 different zoning districts on it, and they built the building without the permits. That's when it came out, because they actually built it on the line, and the half of the building is, part of the building is on a A1, the other part is on C6, so that's why they have to combine both and make it one zoning district.
What is your name?
My name is Anna Lukasik.
Okay. Do we have any questions? All right, so right now it's split zoned and we're just trying to bring it into compliance. Is
Yes,
that-
the total property is 12.5 acres, and I think that agricultural one is like a little bit over 2 acres, so it's a smaller part of the property.
So really the 2 acres is what we're talking
Yes.
about.
Did you get the permits for the 2 buildings?
This
that
is the
were
last
built?
part of the permit. We already have the building permits approved, everything. This is the last part of the building permit.
Okay, thank you.
Did we receive any letters of objection from community on this?
No.
Is there anybody here today from the public that wants to speak in this case? Okay, any questions? Last chance from the committee here? All right, you're good with it?
Good with it.
Okay. Go slow, because I think Judy's on her way back in, so
Did you want to wait for Judy or?
just go ahead.
Okay.
Hopefully she comes back.
Frankie Pretzel,
I'll be a yes.
Sherry Newquist?
Yes.
Herb Brooks? Dawn Bullock?
Yes.
Judy Ogala, Denise Winfrey? Approved.
Okay. All right, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck to you. Okay, next, number 8, ZC 25106. Map amendment from A1 to R1, 12504 West Wilmington Peatone Road, Peatone, Illinois County Board District Number 2. I need a motion and a second to put it on the floor. We have a motion Winfrey, second Brooks, and
I have
Jesus.
questions. Oh, go ahead, let
Go
them go.
ahead, and then
Sorry.
we'll let you go first.
Okay.
Sure. So this property takes place in Wilton Township. The property is currently zoned A1 and is about 27.9 acres in area with 340 feet of lot frontage. The property owner intends to divide the property into 2 parcels. One parcel will retain the farmland. The newly created parcel will contain the existing home on the property. The property owner intends to sell the parcel with the home to an interested party. The parcel with the home will be approximately 1.75 acres. The parcel, once divided, will not meet the A1 zoning lot size requirement. Therefore, the applicant is requesting to rezone the property to R1 to the R1 zoning district to bring the newly created parcel into compliance. Since the parcel that will be created will be under 5 acres and it does not fall under any of the 10 exemptions of the Illinois Plat Act, a minor subdivision will also be required. The applicant intends to move forward with applying for a minor subdivision if the map amendment is approved. The Planning and Zoning Commission voted 5-0 to thereby recommend approval of the map amendments. And at the meeting, there were no concerned citizens and there were no comments from any of the agencies notified. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, to member Newquist here.
Thank you. Wait, is staff recommending denial on this?
Yes, so I forgot to mention that, but staff did recommend denial. It was basically there is no other R1 zone district nearby this property. It's basically either A1 or E2.
So if this were subdivided as an E2 instead of an R1, would you have recommended approval? I mean, I don't want to put you guys on the spot. I'm just kind of wondering if, because, then it would be more consistent with some of the other zoning.
Right. The problem with rezoning to E2, it was brought up to the applicants. The E2 zoning district requires a minimum of 2.4 acres in area. So obviously they intend to create a 1.75 acre parcel. So if they wanted to request a rezoning to that, they would also be required to request variances. But the applicants decided to just request the R1 since it would meet the R1 lot requirements.
And it's just one R1 lot, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Okay, and we need the subdivision just because it's an R1 and that's, okay, got it. Thank you.
Can you put the picture up? Because I just want to ask a question about it. So it looks like is the entire thing one parcel right now, or
Yes.
is the parcel in the middle owned by somebody else?
Yes.
Yeah, so is that, wait, now it's gone.
Yes, so on the screen share, the blue part, the blue solid outline is the entire parcel, or the parcel that will be kind of split off, and the dash red portion is the newly created 1.75 acre. So
Okay.
basically, only the dash red will be rezoned to R1.
Everything else is within the blue, so that the property we see there with the buildings and everything, that's part of the whole big parcel?
That's actually a separate parcel.
Oh, that's a separate parcel?
Yes. Mhm.
And that small parcel, what's there now? Looks like there's a house there now.
There's basically just a house and some existing trees on the property.
Oh, so it's an existing
Yes,
piece?
yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah.
But the owner of the property was, you did discuss the E2 with him and they didn't want to, did they say why they didn't want to?
They did not. So they did have a pre-application meeting with us when they first came up with the idea of trying to divide up the parcel. There was basically 3 options: either request variances to remain A1 and to request variances for lot area, as well as some setbacks since the house wouldn't meet the A1 setbacks anymore, or to rezone to either the E2 with variances or rezone to R1. And they decided to rezone to the R1.
Without
Without
variances.
variances, right.
And we're not voting, we wouldn't be voting on the variances anyway.
Right.
And PCC approved this? I thought I read somewhere that
Yeah.
they denied it. Okay,
PCC approved it 5-0.
okay, thank you. I misread that, thanks.
What are your thoughts on this?
Because it's just, they can't cut into it.
Yeah. It's in,
They can't.
see,
It's not all one.
where all those buildings are somebody else's land.
But so the other, I have another. So the other house is going to remain part of the A1?
So the existing house is gonna be part of a new parcel that will be 1.75 acres. And the rest of the solid blue, they would just want to remain as farmland, so there's no plans to build any other house or
She's
anything.
not asking
Wait,
that.
no.
The property
is
with
somebody else's
all the buildings that we see, that's what she's asking about.
Is
Oh, that one is a separate parcel, so
So there's
separate-
this line here.
so so the total blue line, this is where I was getting confused. The big blue line, the big, long, skinny blue line is their property except for
right.
the
yes.
carve out.
Yeah.
So they're, okay, now I understand. So they had non-contiguous property lots, basically. I mean, How can that be?
Yeah, that, I think there is about like 30 feet of the like area they have there.
Just
connecting
enough
it.
to connect
Yeah,
it?
just enough to connect.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Sorry, guys. I just couldn't get my head around that.
Nothing really changes by us
No.
approving this.
Well, that's
what I wanted to add.
Just R in the middle of
We create an
no
R, that's the one change.
Which is spot zoning, which I don't really like to do, but,
But nobody, we wouldn't have liked to do that either, so.
right.
Okay, any
Well, that-
questions? I see
that's-
Member Brooks.
Well, if Sherry Newquist is confused, then I'm double confused. She knows more about this than I do. I think you answered my question, Jesus, because it looks like to me with the old house, they're building a new house, is that right?
They
But-
are not.
They're not?
They're not. So the only house
You
that's
guys
currently,
can come on.
that's currently on the property.
Please.
So yeah, I think the property owner can explain a
I'll
little bit
hold
better.
my question, I'll hear the answer. Thank
But
you.
basically, the only house that exists on the property is there's just one house, and it's in that portion that's dash red. And they want to sell that portion to an interested party. They want to keep the rest of the farmland for themselves to keep farming it.
Hi, for the record, my name's Edward Sharkey on behalf of the petitioner who's here, was Debbie Robbins. She's the successor trustee of the Doris Robbins Trust. Doris Robbins originally owned all 40 acres, and she deeded off 10 acres, which is that carved out portion to her son years ago. She retained ownership and lived in the house that's in the area that we're petitioning. She has since passed away. Family wants to keep farming the rest of the property, but has no need for the farmhouse. And so that's the reason that we're asking for the change of the zoning from A1 to R1 so they can sell the house.
That carve out is family land. I mean, essentially, it's all the same people. Okay.
At one time it was, but the carved out portion is owned by a different person.
No,
Not by family anymore.
not by family anymore.
got
No, my brother had it and
Oh, and he sold it
he
without.
passed away and there was a bunch of things and we lost that part of the farm.
I understand.
But we owned, my other brother, my mom, before she died, quite a while ago, not gave, but sold 10 acres to each of my brothers so they could have their house. You know, when we moved there, the big house was our family house. My brother's family got too big for the trailer he was living in, because he had 5 kids. So my mom and I built the one in the red square, rectangle there. We built that and moved there and staying on the farm, but that whole area is our farmland.
Understand?
So can I ask one more question to staff? This is for staff. So if they had gone the E2 route, the variance would have been required because there's not technically a big enough parcel for E2.
Right.
So the variance would have had to been to reduce the size of the E2, but then it would be consistent with the rest of the zoning in the area. I don't know that it really matters that much. So, okay, thank you.
No, you're absolutely correct. I mean, it's used as a residence, even though it's A1 zoning now, and it will continue to be used as a residence if we get the R1 zoning.
It's just we run into the problem of spot zoning. You know, once you spot zone something, very hard to say no to other spot zoning. That's my only concern. Not that not that you want to sell that off, so.
No,
Yeah.
Thank you. Do anyone else here to speak on this case?
But then this way, what's the
Okay, I think, Dawn, you can go ahead and call the roll.
Map Amendment A1 to R1, Frankie Pretzel,
Yes.
Sherry Newquist,
Yes.
Herbert Brooks, Dawn Bullock,
You get one vote.
okay, Judy Ogala, and Denise Winfrey. Passes.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, on to other business. First up, we have APCD 25-007. This is a appeal of Planning and Zoning Commission decision of rejecting a temporary use permit application to allow recreational vehicle on the property in Crete Township, vacant property at vacant Greenwood Avenue, Crete, Illinois. I believe this is County Board District number 3. Brian?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. As you mentioned, this property is located on Greenwood Avenue. It's at the corner, I would call the northwest corner of Greenwood and Bemis, if I'm saying that correctly. This is probably a first. I don't know that this committee has ever seen an appeal of an appeal, but for the history here, the property owner had a temporary use permit for a tiny home, and that temporary use permit expired in September. They were interested in applying for an additional temporary use permit. The staff rejected that application because there was an outstanding violation on the property. The violation in case involves many things, including the tiny home, but also the placement of an accessory structure without a permit. The zoning ordinance says if there's an ongoing violation on the property, then the zoning administrator can reject the application. So that's what the zoning administrator did. The application was rejected. The person requesting the temporary use permit filed the initial appeal regarding the zoning administrator decision. It was timely. It went to the Plan Commission on October, oh gosh, I don't have the date in front of me, October 21st. And the Planning and Zoning Commission agreed that staff made the correct decision and was not in error to reject the application. And they did that by a vote of 6-0. So that was the 6 people that were present that evening. The petitioner does have the right to appeal that decision under the zoning ordinance, and they submitted the appeal the next day, which was timely as well. And now it's before this committee to determine, did staff make the correct decision, and did the PZC make the correct decision in not accepting the application that there was no error. This will require county board approval, and it'll take 3/4 majority vote to overturn the Plan Commission's decision.
Okay, thank you. And the applicant's here today, I believe, if you want to come up to the microphone. Thank you for being here. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you all so much. Thank you for letting me be here. My name is Lauren Dunsman Herrera, and I wanted to just note here that I would like to apply for and purchase a special use permit. I think that that would solve this problem. So anyway, I'm open to questions or whatever.
I'm going to ask a question of staff. So you said that there were some violations on the property. Have those all been resolved? Do you know?
Well, I mean, currently we have a recreational vehicle on the property, and then an accessory structure. The recreational vehicle is not a permitted use, and you know, I'm calling it a recreational vehicle. The owner's calling it a tiny home. The bottom line is it has wheels and it's a recreational vehicle as defined by the code. So it's not so yes, that is a violation itself because it doesn't comply with the building code. It's not allowed to be there. And then they also have an accessory structure, which is I don't know how large it is, maybe 200 or 300 square feet. Maybe it's a little bit bigger. It's an accessory structure that's on that property that was not permitted. We cannot issue a permit for this accessory structure because they don't have a legal principal use. You can't have an accessory use unless you have a legal principal use. So it's also on the property and is in violation of the zoning code.
I do actually have a
Go ahead.
question. I do actually have a question. I thought you were working on putting in a permanent foundation and complying with all of the building requirements. Where's that process?
Yeah, I appreciate you asking. Yeah, I have several contractors lined up to finish the permanent foundation and all of the required, amenities and such on the property in accordance with the code. Is my goal is to be compliant with the code.
Do you have a timeline for that?
I've been calling like every day for the last week trying to get the permanent foundation finished, but I haven't gotten approval because of the appeal.
Got it. Thank you.
It's a quagmire.
Mr. Chairman. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Brooks, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, my question is a legal clarification. Mr. Guzman, Ryan said that this would take a supermajority, 2/3, is that right?
3/4.
3/4?
3/4.
I'm not good with math. But this is still would have to pass out of this committee to go to the full board. So if we vote no, will that still go to the full? Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
It's a little more black and white.
all right. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so I have another question of
ahead.
staff. So my next question is, would there be a path forward for her to continue to try and do things, get things done so that she can stay here?
So there is a path forward in order to convert the recreational vehicle to a permanent structure that conforms with the building code, though it is a complicated path and possibly costly. I couldn't tell you offhand what that would be, but right now we're talking about the petitioner here has mentioned that they're close to finishing the foundation, but I mean, I do have concerns about that because I'm not positive that they're thinking the same type of foundation that complies with the building code. A pad is simply something that's sitting there maybe with a tie down like a mobile home. We're talking about a regular foundation that complies with the building code, down to the frost proof level, where the structure would actually be mounted to the foundation, not tied down with straps, where it would actually be mounted to the foundation. All the inside electrical would have to conform with the regulations. All windows would have to conform with regulations, door openings, stairs on the inside of the vehicle. All of that would have to conform with the adopted building code. So it's possible, but it's probably costly. And, I don't know that the applicant is willing to go that far to do that, but that's not up to me to determine, so.
And that's also not what we're voting on today.
No.
I understand we do care, but that's not what we're voting on today. So, and I hope you also understand that when we make decisions like this, it's not even, we're not just considering you, it literally change what's allowed in the whole county. So, we do have to keep that in mind too. But today we're just voting on, do we want to overturn the decision of PZC? I think we're ready to vote.
We're voting error by staff by not accepting application and the PZC vote also. So error from staff and PZC. Did they make the error by not accepting application?
Correct. Yes or no?
Okay. Okay, everyone is.
Yeah, I think we're.
Okay, good.
clear as
Frankie
mud.
Pretzel,
No.
Sherry Newquist,
No.
Herbert Brooks.
No.
Dawn Bullock, Judy Ogala, and Denise Winfrey.
Motion
0-6.
Thank you and good luck to you. Next, SCXT 25-019. Especially, this is a first extension request for a special use permit for zoning case 23108 for commercial solar energy facility in Creed Township. This is the vacant property southeast corner of South Nacky Road and West Loves Lane in Creed, County Board District Number 3. Can I get a motion and a second?
Motion O'Gala.
Second, Newquist.
Motion and second, and then Margie.
If you want, I can summarize briefly. So this came forward before County Board December 21st of 2023. The applicant is working through the permitting process. they have a building permit in. They are working on making the improvements to Nacky Road in this area, and working with, I think, University Park regarding that. And then since the special use permit lapsed within 2 years of county board approval, this permit's set to expire December 21st of this year. So they are requesting their first extension. It was submitted timely, and the county board's authorized to extend it for up to good cause, up to 180 days. And if approved, it would grant them until June 19th of next year, before they would have to pursue another extension or have the permit issued at that point.
Go ahead, yeah.
Just a quick question. I've had a couple of residents that live in the area ask me if we know when they're going to start the improvements on Nacky Road. I'm assuming they haven't and they're not going to start them now, but that permit covers, that permit would cover their ability to make those improvements also, correct?
Well, that would be a separate permit. They would be working with the road district
Okay.
to make those required
Right.
improvements. Likely those improvements would be needed before they can actually start construction on the site, because they would need the traffic to be able to use Nacky to bring in the trucks with the equipment and the machinery and product to construct the site.
That road is so bad. There's just so many residents that are really waiting for the improvements. So thank you.
I do believe the applicant is here as well.
Welcome.
Afternoon. Jordan Belknap with Turning Point Energy, behalf of the applicant. We have been working with University Park. We have a plan for the road improvement that's been approved by University Park. The sequencing, though, will be first we'll do part of the improvement to get the road up to condition so we can construct the solar facility. And then the final improvements will be done after the solar facility construction so that the road is clean when we leave it.
Anything will be an improvement.
Yeah, well, it's blocked off now, basically. Yeah. Okay.
Or you cannot drive on it
Yep.
without ruining your teeth. I have a question.
Oh, you do, go ahead.
Yeah. So my only question is this: at the time that we did this, I don't know that we were where we were. I think we had it that they did not have to bury the ComEd poles. Am I correct on that?
I believe there was a condition that basically if ComEd required them to be above ground, they could. But in terms of extension, we cannot, it's my understanding, we cannot amend any of the conditions.
Okay. Well, I hope that you will make sure that all the poles are buried, even though we cannot extend it. This is something we learned after the fact, and solar keeps changing on us every day. And it's
oh,
just
sorry.
beneficial to the residents if it is, so.
So the current plan was there are the 3 ComEd poles, and
Correct.
then we're going to bury it. And
Okay.
there's really not, the site entrance on solar array are very close. So there's no, long extension essentially required. Yeah.
Good, thank you.
Okay. I think we're ready to vote.
Okay. Frankie Pretzel,
Yes.
Sherry Newquist.
Yes.
Herbert Brooks.
Yes.
Dawn Bullock. Judy Ogala.
Yes.
And Denise Winfrey.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 3, under other business, SCXT 25-020. This is a first extension to zoning case 24020, special use permit for commercial solar energy facility in Washington Township, vacant property at the southeast corner of West Indiana Avenue and Southwestern Avenue, County Board District Number 2. I need a motion and a second.
Motion. Second.
And we have a motion and a second, and then do we need more information on this, or? Okay, is the applicant here today?
He's the same.
Right here.
He
Thank you
just
for
popped right
sticking around
back. We
here.
never saw him walk.
Go ahead.
So my question again is going to be the same thing with the ComEd poles. What's the plan for this
Yeah,
particular project?
it's the same thing. So the ComEd poles will be above ground, then we're going to bury it the rest of the way. This does have a longer run. It will be buried parallel to Southwestern Road, kind of down to the southern end of the site.
As long as they're buried, I'm happy about that. So, thank you.
Any other questions? Anybody else here want to talk about this one? Okay.
Okay. Frankie Pretzel,
Yes.
Sherry Newquist.
Yes.
Herbert Brooks. Dawn Bullock. Judy Ogala. And Denise Winfrey.
Okay, motion carries. Next under other business, SEXT 25-021, a second extension to zoning case 23-012 for a special use permit for a commercial solar energy facility in Shanahan Township. Vacant property on Utility Amico Road, Shanahan, Illinois County Board District Number 1. And do you guys want more information from staff on this? You want to, these extensions we typically approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Previous roll Brooks.
Was anybody here for that?
Is,
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Doesn't look like anybody's here.
No. Okay.
I did read it.
we approved it. We approved the first extension, so if any of us,
Just ask.
but, okay, we do have a previous roll on the floor here.
Second. Okay.
Second, O'Gala, all in favor?
Um,
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Okay, Brian, where are we at with the temporary use permit process discussion?
So at the last meeting, the committee asked me to come up with a temporary use permit that this committee would review. And that would be a permit that would exceed what is customarily allowed as a permitted use, either by right or by Planning and Zoning Commission approval. So this would kind of be a catch-all for anything that exceeded those limits. So I came up with two alternatives, and I called it a special temporary use exceeding established limits. And the first alternative is temporary uses that exceed the duration, frequency, or operational standards established in this section may be considered as special temporary uses. Such applications are subject to the approval by the Land Use and Development Committee. The Land Use and Development Committee may impose conditions deemed necessary to protect the public health, safety, welfare, and to ensure compliance with the general purposes of the zoning ordinance. So that would be the first alternative. So that's one option. The second option is to have it advance through a procedure and not just come straight to this committee, meaning that it would go to the Planning and Zoning Commission first, then to this committee and the county board. And that was alternative 2. And basically that one has language that says temporary uses that exceed the duration, frequency, or operational standards established in this section may be considered as a special temporary use. Such applications must first be reviewed by the Planning and Zoning Commission and are subject to final approval by the county board through the Land Use and Development Committee. The Planning and Zoning Commission shall evaluate whether the proposed use is consistent with the intent of this ordinance and compatible with surrounding land uses, and enacting upon such applications, the Land Use and Development Committee may impose conditions deemed necessary to protect the public health, safety, welfare, and to ensure compliance with the general purpose of this zoning ordinance. So those are the two options I put together. So it's, if you like any of those options or you want to modify them, we could do that. If you want to go ahead and vote on the changes, then we could schedule a public hearing.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Brian, I was kind of confused when I first read this because of number 1, where it says, okay, ordinance changes to consider, number 1, add new text that addresses users that are not expressly authorized under the temporary use provision. And then you had what I'm assuming is the new language. That part really confused me.
Sure. So the first part you have is N, which, we agreed here in the committee that uses that are not authorized by the temporary use provisions of this section, the maximum length of the permit is 179 days. So that wasn't already specifically said for
Okay.
uses that the PZC sees. So that one would go into place saying no more than 170 days in 2 calendar years. That's the language that this committee liked. They didn't want the repeat.
Right, and that was what we talked about last
Yeah,
month,
so
where it
that-
was the special use, if it wasn't specifically designated somewhere.
Correct.
Okay,
So that's N. So that applies to the temporary uses in general, and the ones that Planning and Zoning Commission, no more than 2 per consecutive calendar years. But then we said, well, what about those unique situations where maybe we want something that's
Right.
a little bit different? So then I came up with two alternatives for, basically one that only goes to this committee, and then one that goes to the Planning and Zoning Commission, this committee, and county board.
So yeah, the other two are the same except for going to the way that they, so the first one only comes to land use.
Yeah, yeah. So the thing to consider with that is like, it takes more time, right? If somebody wants to get in a request, if it's got to go to county board, then it's going to be a longer
Right.
process.
And it's right, and by then, I mean, it could be months, literally. And then number two goes through the planning and zoning, land use and county
Yeah,
board.
So that would probably be like a month and a half process.
Okay, but number one doesn't go to PZC either. It just
Nope,
comes to
just
us.
right to this committee.
I
So
like number one. I don't know. I could live with either, but yeah, it's easy. I mean, I don't want to stop people. If it's a legit extension of a special use, I don't want to. Gum up the works too much. But on the other hand, I like that we have some oversight on this. So, but the other thing I thought about was with planning and zoning, they do meet twice a month
Yeah.
instead of, just once a month like we do. So then I was kind of thinking, does that make a difference? Does it factor in? It doesn't happen very often. So, yep, I'm kind of good with number one. I don't know about you guys, but thank you.
Member Brooks, what do you think?
Well, I think get comfortable might take a while. No, one of the things, Brian, I listen for is the brevity of the process, because I've dealt with Will County land use. I've built buildings before, and I would say our process takes a long time. People get frustrated with it. I get frustrated with it. As a matter of fact, I think we're shorter than DuPage and Cook County, some of those. They deal with a whole lot more people. However, for Will County, for our population, I always thought our process for permits is too long. I oftentimes wonder, why does it have to be that way? So even I agree with you, Sherry, because whatever cuts the process and make sure they do it right, I'm 100% for it. And I think by coming to this committee, and like you said, planning and zoning meet twice a month. I'm normally here. I wish you all buy dinner because I'm here past 10 o'clock sometimes. But I think the process needs to be more, and I don't want to use the word shorter because it has to be done right. But I think that if number one gives them the ability to apply for a permit in a timely manner, I like that one, number one. I see you holding your face, Judy.
Should we put something in there that if their permit's gonna expire, we'll extend it until it's heard by land use? I mean, because I'm thinking, what if somebody a month ahead of time, they suddenly realize that, oh my God, I'm gonna need this extended because maybe it's a situation where we've given them a temporary business permit and the permitting's not done or whatever, should we give them the ability to continue on until we can hear them? You're laughing at me, I know, but I don't want.
I'm just thinking about how somebody's going to abuse the system. Maybe.
Well, I know that is true. All right, we can just go with number one as is. And if we happen to have a very rare situation that requires other intervention, we can deal with it.
Well, we're a pretty fair office to work with, and we usually work with people. So, if they're making an application and we can't have it on an agenda for 3 weeks, it's unlikely code enforcement's going to go out there and shut them down that day and say, get out of here.
Okay, I'm good with it.
I agree. I think option one accomplishes what we're trying to accomplish here without completely slowing them down or preventing them from doing what they want to do. Does anybody Do we need to vote on this? or
Yeah,
can-
vote to go to public hearing with the
Alright.
text change.
So,
I'll make a motion, we go to public hearing with alternate number one.
number one, we have a second. Do we need to do a roll call on that or can we do it? Okay.
Keith Pretzel,
Yes.
Sherry Newquist,
Yes.
Herbert Brooks, Dawn Bullock,
Yes.
Judy Ogala, and Denise Winfrey.
All right, good deal. Next, number 6 is a solar status update from Margie.
So last month, I heard your request to improve the spreadsheet and just kind of the data points for the summary of just the solar facilities. So that is what is attached. You can see, to break down the different columns, we have a stage at project. It is color coded, so the different shadings represent, if it's completed or what stage it is. But there's also text kind of explaining whether the permits are closed out, if the permits are issued and it's under construction, if we receive permits, or if they've just received zoning approvals. The total farmlands right now that all the projects that have come forward in this table is about 0.67% of the total farmland. So it is not a significant amount. But it seems like it because we see so many requests come before us, but a lot of times they are, 20 acres here and there, and we have that much farmland. So that's a kind of good statistic to see. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Well, how many acres is 0.67%? Do you have that broken down that way or not?
She should have the total at the bottom. Oh, no, she doesn't.
Yes.
But I don't know which one I'm really, can you put it up? Because we've got a couple attached, so. Which one am I? Maybe
Yeah,
I
it
looked
should
at
be
the
the
wrong
blue.
one. We'll see it though.
I like the report. I thought it was good.
Oh, there we go. I was looking at the wrong one.
I don't know what you see, but it's always the one on top.
Okay, yeah, I picked the wrong one.
Well, thanks,
It's this
Margie.
one.
Yeah. Yeah.
The blues with the blues, right? With the blues.
Okay.
Okay, so the only other thing that we don't have is like total acres. A total one, right?
Total acres of Will County farmland is 216,593 acres, and that's incorporated and unincorporated areas. 1,593 acres.
That's our total farm.
That is total farmland in Will County entirety.
So our solar, you're saying the solar takes up 1,104 acres of those.
Correct. That's currently, yeah, what we approved.
Oh, wait, approved. Oh, well, right, but that's total.
It's not as bad as it seems.
Yeah, no.
It just seems like we've approved so many. It seems like,
Yeah, but we have a lot of farmland.
yeah, thank goodness.
Okay, anything else?
Basically.
Okay, we're gonna move on to land
Thank you.
resource. I'm sorry?
I just said thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Good report.
Not
Land
a-
resource
just
management plan
clarifying
update
first.
from Colin.
Hello. So I'm Tier 2, Nick Hernandez again, community planner, to update or to talk about the update for the Fairmont Neighborhood Plan. Last month, I had submitted it to the committee. I know there were some issues viewing it, so I don't know if anyone or everyone got a chance to kind of look over the old document, but I kind of just put together a little presentation just for some cliff notes and some key findings, and then I'll get some questions, comments, concerns afterwards. All right. So basically, some key findings would be I did a survey for the whole process throughout the public or the meetings that I did with the public. The total of 95 total respondents, both as an English and Spanish version to kind of make sure that everyone was incorporated. Then we also did like a kid version that CMAP created for us. Most folks were from Fairmont and had lived there for over 20 years. A lot of them were unaware of the plan or did not participate in the planning process. And And then some of the key takeaways that a lot of folks talked about were sidewalks, streetlights, cleanliness, community events, transparency, and things of that nature. And then there were three main goals and three main goals, and then 7 main objectives in the first plan. So I had them to reprioritize the goals to see which ones were the goals and the objectives to see what were still relevant, to kind of see that way we could weed out the ones that we want to focus on or like have other parties focus on. So the objectives were from first to third, being most important, improved infrastructure, followed by bringing new growth, and then the stronger sense of identity. And then for goals, it was redevelop the vacant parcels, followed by the address the housing stock, and then the provide and preserve the quality green space. And throughout this process, we also found 4 new goals, which I mentioned last time, which is to beautify the neighborhood, improve community engagement, improve information dispersal, and then kind of update and modernize utilities in the area. I also did a word cloud. So basically, I asked individuals, what's one word they think of when they hear the word Fairmont, or they think of Fairmont, and then the bigger the word, the more it came up. And then some of the main words were home, family, community, diverse, and then potential. So there's a lot of positive words that come in. There are some negative words that come up too, but the positive definitely were a lot bigger. And then also I did an activity called This or That, where basically the folks had to choose if they would rather have what was more important to them, because that way I could kind of decide or gives me a better idea of what I guess are the top priorities. And the one that was overwhelmingly the favorite was flood reduction, followed by clean drinking water, and then lower crimes. And then I had mentioned this last time, just a recap of things. There's changes in demographics, did different outreach events, worked with different community partners, did a survey. We listed accomplishments things that had been done from at the end of the document in the appendix. There's kind of like a checklist of things. We kind of went through and kind of updated the status of those to see from the original plan what has been done and what still needs to be done. Talked about some key findings, some recommendations towards the end. I mentioned the 4 new goals. And then there's an action plan that was also described, which is kind of like the checklist. And kind of I added some new ones to that based on the responses that I got from individuals. Obviously, in the document, everything's more fleshed out, and there's a lot more details to everything. So it's kind of just a quick little, tidbits. And then the main point or the next steps would be to raise awareness, approval to go out for the public comment period, eventually the approval from the county board, and then just to share the responsibility of updating and implementing the plan for all parties involved to kind of just, work together to make things happen and move forward with the update and accomplishing the goals set out. So yes, that's all I had for that. Were there any questions, comments, concerns from anyone that had read it? And yes, I'm here to take any of those.
Go ahead, Member Brooks.
Nicholas, the last point, share responsibility of updating, implementing the plan. Who is the shared? Who will be doing the sharing?
It's just it's more like a raise awareness to kind of say like, any interested parties, whether they're nonprofits to apply for funding, or developers that are curious about
your office be doing that, or do you have partners?
Yeah, I have community partners that I work with.
Okay.
I've facilitated on numerous occasions between churches, schools, nonprofits, township, the township community members. So I'm just trying to kind of bring key stakeholders to the party or to the table, so that we kind of work together to kind of check things off the list to make sure that things are getting accomplished, and it's not just sitting on a shelf gathering dust.
Good. Thank you, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good. Anything else? So we need. Yes. All right. Thank you for your work on that.
I would need approval for it to be sent to public hearing.
We have a motion, Winfrey, second, Ogala.
Previous
Previous roll, Newquist, second, Brooks, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Nick.
Thank you.
Colin. On to the Will County Comprehensive Noxious Weed Work Plan. This one, Colin?
Our annual,
My favorite topic.
yes, yes, we're talking noxious weeds, not just any old weeds, noxious weeds. So we need to follow the Illinois Noxious Weed Act, which the purpose is to identify those noxious weeds and establish a coordinated effort to control them. This is the list of the noxious weeds according to the state of Illinois. There are 9 of them, 2 of which the giant ragweed and common ragweed are only considered noxious weeds within municipalities, not within the county. And then there are 3 parts to what we can do. There's the administration portion that's required by statute that we have an action plan. We provide notification of that action plan and the noxious weeds, the list of noxious weeds. And then at the end of the year, provide an annual report to the Department of Agriculture, reporting of any findings of noxious weeds. The next step would be, if you so desire, having enforcement, which would require a weed control superintendent who needs to be certified. And then if you choose, have a noxious weed control fund. Then the next step beyond that would be having actual take steps to eradicate them yourselves as a county, instead of relying on the individual property owners to do that. So the superintendent would need to be licensed to handle the proper herbicides, and the noxious weed control fund would need to be established. So we must do the administration portion. Right now, it's done by our office. So one of the considerations for you, would it be somewhere else? So all we need to do is make sure that submit the action plan, which is what you're being approved today. And then we as staff will do the public notification, and then the annual report, which is coming up soon. So decisions for you, continue with the administration portion is required. We're assuming us as the land use department. And then the next question is, do you want to start working in enforcement or eradication? Those are your decisions today.
This girl's hot today.
Go ahead, I saw your light person. Member Newquist.
Okay, so with the exception of cannabis, unfortunately, my garden is pretty much full of all of those noxious weeds. So I live in a municipality, not unincorporated. So living in a municipality, if we moved into the enforcement and eradication portion of this, what would I do as a homeowner?
It would be up to the municipality to determine whether or not they need a weed supervisor or not.
Okay, so I would contact, or probably my code enforcement would come and look at my garden and say, hey, we need to do something about your noxious weeds. And it would go from there. Now, if I lived in unincorporated Will County and I had that same situation and we moved into enforcement and eradication, what would happen?
Well, do you, right now, are you asking what we would do today?
No, if we decided to, well, actually both. What would we do today? And then if we decided that
What
we
would
wanted
do
to move
today
to enforcement
is
or
that
eradication?
we would send out our code enforcer along with a certified master gardener who can identify these from the extensions office, and just notify the property owner, hey, you have noxious weeds. By state statute, you are required to get rid of them. And all we would do is then take that notification and put it in our file and send it on with the annual report. Hey, we had a notification, we sent out a notice, and that's as far as we would go. Now, if you wanted a noxious weed superintendent, that person would be a master gardener who could identify all of these and say, hey, you're on notice, please get rid of this noxious weed. And then the next step, depending how it was treated, go through the administration adjudication or whatever else. don't know, that's all future stuff, if that's what you want to do. And then if you wanted to go with eradication portion of this as well, then that's weed superintendent could be able to do that by themselves or contract out to eradicate those weeds.
So would the county pay for that or would the
No, no,
homeowner pay for that?
It would be however the noxious weed control fund is set up and funded.
Well, you'd have a whole lot of people calling the county to come and eradicate their noxious weeds, I'm thinking. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure I understood the process.
Director, did you have a comment?
Yes, just also for clarification, I mean, the way it is right now, we rely upon the property owner to take care of the issue. We report to the state. If you go to number 2 and 3, that requires, setting up certain things, including funding sources, and we did not include this in the FY26 budget.
You can't be adding anything to that. Okay.
So as it stands right now, you just tell me to get rid of them.
Correct.
I don't.
Yes.
Nothing happens to me.
Correct.
Perfect.
However, that doesn't preclude the Department of Ag coming by and saying, knocking on your door and doing their own enforcement actions. This just wouldn't be possibly.
Or they could fine you.
Right.
Member O'Gallagher.
So do we have a report right now of like Sherry's garden? Because she told me they're all there. My garden doesn't have it. The chickens eat everything in the darn thing, it seems, even the noxious weeds.
The only
I'm just joking. What do we do right now? Do we have a report of it? Do we
Yeah,
know
yeah.
how many there are or anything?
The answer is no, because all of the reports that we have received have been for the ragweeds, which are not the noxious weeds in the unincorporated areas.
Okay.
So I need a motion to approve the action plan.
Go administration.
Second.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement.
Previous.
We have a motion, we have a second, we have a previous and a second. Brooks, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. You have your blessing to move forward.
That's the first box.
On to reports, communications, and correspondence. I don't have anything. Do we have any comments from committee members? Okay, on to director.
I just have a
Sorry,
comment.
back to you.
I just want to say thank you so much for all the time that you guys have put into the temporary use permit issue. I'm really happy that we resolved it, and I'm pretty comfortable that we've got a way to address situations going forward. So thank you very much.
Yep. Director, do you have any comments? All right. You do? You do? Okay, Dawn.
So
Love to hear from
I sent out an email about January 1st. It is a holiday and we will not be meeting. Did we want to eliminate January? Do we want to come back on January 7th or January the 8th? A Wednesday, January 7th, or Thursday, January 8th?
Can we do Thursday? Or do you want to just pile it onto February, which could cause, quite a meeting in February?
We'll bring in lunch.
Thursday, January sounds great.
Yeah, I'm okay with either, whatever.
You guys want to have the January meeting and
Are you saying don't have a meeting?
No. Well, those are.
Or vote through executive.
So wait, yeah, because isn't the 8th executive?
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be a long day because we have forest preserve and executive and then land use.
And
It's
that would
always
be
a long day.
small. We shouldn't have a lot. Just what I think, but.
Wait, so we'd have to have land use after executive, I'm assuming. I mean, we could do that. Yeah, because executive's at 10, right? Isn't it?
Well, wait, if we had it on the 8th, none of it's going to the board meeting that month anyway.
It would.
It would still make it.
Oh, would it?
We have executive.
Oh, yeah, it would be after executive. So
Oh, right, because it would be after executive. Right.
Spots on the agenda.
we did it Wednesday.
We could do it that Wednesday.
Or we just have a big one
I
in
think
February.
there's gonna be a blizzard on the 7th and I say.
Okay, so our other option would be to not have a meeting in January. We could put any business that we have to handle on the executive agenda and then have our land use meeting for January, just double it to February. Is that right? That's what we're talking about?
something.
Yeah. Can we do that?
Skip
We've never done it before, that would I
Could
know.
we
of.
skip the land use meeting in January and just go right to the county board for the cases?
We could. Well, that's kind of what he said.
No, he's saying do it in February,
Said
right?
whatever needs to be done in the executive.
I mean, to give some perspective with it, it's common with December not having land use. If we had urgent zoning cases, we'd put it through executive.
Okay.
So if that's the case, we need to do something like that. I think that's the path forward for January.
That's what we're doing.
So we're having one in December, but not in January, and we're gonna put anything urgent on executive in January.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, good. I like it. Do we have anybody left from the public? No? Do we have an executive session today? No? Then we just need a motion to adjourn.
Motion Newquist.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Just three. Yeah, any opposed? No? Okay, motion carries. Meeting's adjourned. Next meeting will be on December 4th. Thanks, everybody.
You know,